ancestors and family members that are guiding the stream, please let it initiate into YouTube. It's waiting for the setup, so let's just see how it goes.
We
Focus,
got this.
focus. We are live on YouTube, so if you are ready, please do go over to the YouTube stream, School of Multidimensional Intuition, and share that on your guys' Facebooks as we get started here. Once we can tell that we're on Facebook and we can see the thing, then we'll go ahead and officially kind of start everything. So
okay.
We have live on YouTube.
The School of Multidimensional. There we are. Yay.
There we go. We hear it.
Okay, right on.
Cool. I'm going to go ahead and start the Zoom recording as well from this point.
Matt, your sound is kind of echoing a little bit. I think it's because you got it coming out of the speaker too.
Okay. Yeah, here I'm going to turn that down. Let me know if there's still a delay because I don't have headphones, so we're just going to be doing this with the contact speaker. So hopefully there's not too much of a delay. Are you guys able? Do we have audio connectivity?
Sounds good.
Yeah, yes. I can hear you just fine. I can't see the live stream on your channel though.
Okay. I can see it on mine. And
cool. We got 9 people on YouTube at the moment. Hello, Teresa Freeman. Good to see you. Good to see you. So we're gonna wait for people to roll in. Let me know when you guys are able to see the stream. It does show up on YouTube now. So
yep, I've got it.
Can you share the link in
Where is
chat?
This?
Yes, here it comes.
Where is this streaming from? Facebook?
It is on my channel, the School of Multidimensional Intuition. I'm going to put it in the chat. And so if you're one of the people that's here with us on YouTube, roll on in, grab a seat, hang out. We're going to get started. We just want to make sure that we're able to connect on all the platforms. So we're going to share this to Facebook. We got a few people in the YouTube room, so come on in.
Okay, there we go. I got it on one of the groups.
Excellent.
Okay.
Roll on in the door. If you are here, you have made it. You have survived. We made it to April 4th of 2020. And today we're going to be doing some really amazing, absolutely unique, like nothing else that is going on out there in this strange realm here today. And so we're just waiting to get started. Once we have connectivity on Facebook, we shall formally begin. And we're also going to need to share this in the event page. So hopefully one of you guys can grab this link and share it in the Facebook event page. I know a lot of people,
right now.
A lot of people were worried about getting in there. I want to make sure we are able to reach all the people who are going to be here with us.
I'm sharing it in the event page right now.
Cool, cool, cool. There we go. We have lots of sharing. How are we doing, everybody? Are we ready? Do we have this all shared on our...
All right, I've got it up on my page now. Yep, we're good to go. Well, at least cool. I am over here.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go ahead and formally start as we kind of wait for people to trickle in on YouTube and Facebook. If you're one of the strange hybrid beings that has somehow stumbled upon this broadcast today, welcome. You made it. You are in 4th density. This is the stage of your physical incarnation in which everything is changing, everything is transmuting, everything is transforming at this stage. And so every single one of us is aware right now of the craziness in the world, the madness, the sickness, whatever you want to call it. I'm not going to use the keywords here today because you guys all know why we're here. And so if you're also part of the group on Facebook, thank you for joining us. What we're going to be going through here today is a multi-part healing protocol, an energetic transmission in which each individual practitioner present here among this panel is going to be offering their own unique frequency, their own modality, their own offering to whatever it is they're bringing to this strange great awakening that we're having right now. And so what we're going to be doing here in the beginning is a little bit of a discussion just for a little while, talking about what's going on, our feelings about what's happening, and most importantly, what each of these people are going to be bringing to this unique event. And so, yeah, please do come on in, settle down. For those of you guys that are not aware, I am Matthew. I have a YouTube channel called the School of Multidimensional Intuition, as well as a website called rememberyourmission.com, in which we are essentially working with multidimensional expansion and the true development of your own multidimensional intuitive healing abilities. With us today, we have Eric Rains of Unleashing Natural Humanity, who's going to be taking us through a very, very particular, very, very interesting protocol as well. Eric has been a person that I have learned a tremendous, tremendous amount from and has played a very important role in my own awakening. So I'm deeply, deeply honored that we could have Eric here. We also have Barbara Buck, one of the people that, you know, I think she's actually one of the few people that has actually saved my life in the astral realms. And I know that's a cheesy phrase, but Barbara Buck has also been one of the primary forces and the frequency holders behind guiding and assisting many, many people in this multidimensional soul group toward really awakening who they are and why they're here and what they're doing. So Barbara's going to be taking us through a unique protocol as well. And lastly, we have Z, Z Earthstar Healer, one of my favorite and most interesting and unique individuals in this strange realm. And Z is also going to be bringing a very, very unique offering of a sound transmission. Deeply honored to have her here. And so we will start out. How are you guys doing? We're going to start out with Eric, and then we'll go to Barbara and Z. But Eric, how you doing? How you feeling? What's happening in your world, and what are you bringing us today?
Well, it's pretty interesting. You know, my life really hasn't changed that much other than we can't go out to certain places. I work from home anyway. And it's been interesting to feel the shift in the collective lately. There has been such a huge upsurgence of anxiety, of fear, of anger, of, you know, futile, almost like a hopelessness that's really starting to come up to the surface right now. And what this is doing is it's exposing all of these dense core places inside of humanity where we have genetic triggers and genetic traumas on a planetary level. And there's a lot coming out into the surface right now that it's definitely a lot crazier than anything we've ever seen before. But you know, this is what the apocalypse of these systems look like. You know, like it gets crazy, and it's going to get probably a bit crazier before it gets better. But you know, that's the thing. Where else can we figure out how to exercise mastery than inside of that forge, you know? And that forge, it's extremely hot, it's extremely pressurized, and it doesn't feel good. But this is where we can actually polish our diamond, where we can become something new, become something old, I guess you could say, you know, like ancient in that matter. You know, and it's been really an interesting ride along these pathways. And I've been noticing I've actually been a lot more tired than lately over the past week or so. You know, and what that's been doing for me is allowing me to really kind of sink back into myself and really enjoy the astral realm, I guess you could say. And that's what I've been really kind of focusing on lately. But what I'm bringing today is a planetary clearing where all of us together, we're going to go ahead and activate our bioelectric flows, and we're going to start to turn it up so loud and so strong that we can then ascend out of our bodies into the planetary sphere. And from there, we're going to start tuning into the frequencies, the harmonizations of these different viruses that are on the planet right now. And then we're going to start to change the tone. And it's really interesting when we start getting in on that level. And especially if you've got sickness happening inside of you right now, we've seen some pretty interesting stuff with people like spontaneously getting better, like really, really quickly. So it's going to be a fun one. I'm really excited for this one. Thank you for putting this together, Matt.
Totally. Thank you. Thank you. I have a feeling this is something we have done before in a strange way. Yeah, that said, thank you, Barbara. What's happening? How you feeling? What are you bringing us today?
Hi. I am feeling good. I'm a little sleepy. But other than that, everything is business as normal with me. I live in an RV kind of on this little patch of land outside of town. So we don't see that many people anyway, and I work from home. So it's just like you guys. I mean, I'm just doing my thing, just exactly the same. I am feeling and have been feeling off and on the collective and checking in and feeling that little bit of angst, that low level angst and survival mode that a lot of people are in. You know, which is really not a bad thing, because when you go into survival mode, people can tend to get really, you know, they just can really only do one thing at a time. You get really quiet, you get calm, you don't want to do a lot. And, you know, it's a good time to start, you know, doing some self-work. But if you've done a ton of self-work, now is a really great time to start creating the world that you want and start creating the reality that you want. So it's kind of in a weird way, all this stuff had to come up to surface for healing, and it is. And you know, we have an opportunity to kind of really shift consciousness right now. I mean, it's already shifting, things are already changing, I can feel it. I have been really busy too with a lot of panicked phone calls and texts and things like that from people, so that's been keeping me pretty busy. But other than that, yeah, things are just kind of like the way that they always are in my world. So what I'm going to be doing today is I'm going to be doing helping us to kind of just clear any extra programming that may reside around the issues that we're having right now. A lot of us have programming, not just on unconscious, in the unconscious mind, but really we hold it in our energy bodies, and we hold them programs on a cellular level as well. So I'm just going to walk you guys through a process that I do with a lot of my clients to help them to clear any programming and, you know, thought distortions and things like that, you know, in a very simple way, a very simple technique that you can use for pretty much any issue that you have. So I'm excited. It's not going to take a long time, but hopefully you can take away another tool with you with my portion of it. And that's pretty much it.
Thank you. Thank you. Z, what's happening in your world? What's going on? How you feeling? And what are you going to be bringing us today?
Hi, everybody. Hope you can hear me okay. I'm just so happy and honored to be here with these beautiful people, some of my favorites in the entire world, and everybody that's tuning in as well. I feel like there is a lot of anxiety and craziness. Turn up the audio. Let's see. I think I can do that. Hello, 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 hello. Hope that's working.
It's a little better. Sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I'm going to be sharing more of a sonic transmission with you guys today. It's kind of the thing that I've been doing. The codes that are moving through today have a lot to do with the root chakra and the different speed of which we can perceive the reality. And in this time when there's a lot of agitation and anxiety, it's important to kind of just slow down and see what is important so we don't miss out on anything. It feels like such an important moment where we're really angling ourselves to be ready for what's coming. And I feel like everybody that's here today is probably a part of this team that's, let's say, creating the new, and we're kind of ahead of the curve and preparing the new to come in. So we're really getting this opportunity to zone in with all the tools that are available here with Eric and Barbara and Matthew. And I'm just gonna kind of bring in some sounds to help us integrate and get into that. So yeah, thank you so much for inviting me, Matt.
Absolutely. In addition to the stuff that we just mentioned here, and thank you to all those of you guys that are watching, I do have a request for those of you guys that are watching on Facebook. Start a watch party and share this in the event page. We're having a few people still asking how to get into the event. And I just want to make sure that all the people out there, there's a lot of people that want to come to this, are going to be able to find this event. I know for some of us, it's a little challenging with all these windows and websites. So once again, if those of you guys that are watching on Facebook, just share this on your page, share this in the event group. There's a lot of energy moving through the collective and the community today, and we really want people to be able to be a part of something that is pure and true and is, you know, what we're really, really doing. And so for those of you guys that want to take part in this unique process, yeah, what will I be bringing to this specifically? In my own particular kind of self-work and individual work, I have identified what I believe to be non-physical structures and also physical structures in the human body that play a tremendous, almost completely unheard of a few years ago role in really expanding and enhancing our abilities to understand truth, to develop our intuitive frequencies, and most importantly, to absolutely shift the emotional, physical, and energetic state of the human body. And so what we're going to be doing today, right after Eric, is I'm going to take everybody through what is essentially a vagus nerve enhancement or tone improving process, number one. And number two, we're also going to be mobilizing the lymphatic fluid in our body. And so the effects that this is having upon people is enhanced clarity, mental, emotional, but also physical. It's my opinion at the beginning of fourth density, one of the most important systems in the human body is the lymphatic system, is that is your body's true aquarium, and the level to which we're able to perceive, read energy, see clearly, understand truth on a large level is dependent upon the clarity within our own physical container. So we're going to be taking the group today through a very unique lymphatic mobilization and a vagus nerve clearing protocol. That said, anything else that you guys want to add? What are you seeing in the world? Before we get started with Eric in a little while here, because we have we have 4 individuals that are doing this work as their full-time mission. A lot of us have been seeing clients during this time. A lot of us have been watching the unfoldment, the exterior madness in the world. Are there any trends? Are there any pieces of information? Is there something that you would like to give or offer to all these people out there that are watching that are like, how do I take part in this? What is my role? What do I need to work on? I'm going to open it up for any one of you guys that want to comment on that. But what do you guys think people need to know today? 4-4. Anybody, go ahead.
Yeah, definitely. So one of the biggest things that I'm seeing right now is there's a whole bunch of anecdotal information that's being spread around right now that is nobody's direct experience. And what I'm seeing is almost like a cult-like type of a behavior where there is a huge gravitation towards this information and everybody's putting all of their eggs into that one basket. And we don't know for sure. You know, that's the only thing that we can truly say right now is we don't know anybody who's doing any of this stuff. That, you know, this is all information that is being found online, and we can't find direct physical evidence of somebody that we know actually inside of this space right now doing stuff like that. And if you do, so be it. You know, you've got your proof right there. But it really doesn't matter, because right now, more than anything, humankind needs to start really recognizing that we're here to save ourselves, and that we are the ones that we are waiting for. We are the cavalry. We are the backup. And we are so much more powerful than we'd ever given ourselves credit for. And this is why this type of work right here is so important, because when we go into our internal space and we start to reforge ourselves and we start to cultivate the energies and the beauty that we want to create inside of this world, that's where we start building the power that actually shifts the entire collective from the foundations where all these systems are created all the way up. And, you know, it's not about what's going on out in the world right now. It's about what we can do inside of ourselves, inside of this massive space of, you know, retreat. Like right now, we've got a chance to work on ourselves that like we haven't had in a long time, because, you know, you're forced to stay home. So yeah, you might as well utilize it. It's not a bad thing right now. This is the reset that humanity needs. But with everything that's, you know, going on around the internet with these conspiracy theories about the takedown of the deep state, we don't have proof of this. We can see things that line up that, you know, it might be going on, but we do not know 100% for sure. And we have to take a step back and recognize, well, what happens if this isn't going on right now? And I've just been giving up all of my time and energy towards this momentum right here that isn't going anywhere, when I could have spent it on myself and start to create something that starts to create a physical momentum to where we all then intermesh together on the outside physical world and start to move from there. You know, and I see that more than anything right now, where we just got to take a step back from other people's information and other people's experiences and start to create our own more than anything.
Yeah.
I think that's important. And I'd like to add to that, because that's, you know, really similar. Your feelings are really similar to my feelings. One thing I'd like to add a little bit extra to that is that discernment right now is key. And by discernment, I mean, like, not, is it true? Is it not true? By discernment, I mean, is it in alignment with myself, my ascension timeline, and my mission here, or isn't it? And I think that that's just like a really important distinction to make, because what happens is everybody runs around going, is it true? Is it not true? Is it true? Is it not true? Where do you want to put your energy? Where do you want to put your God power, whatever you want to call it? And for me personally, part of the discernment process is to A, how is it making me feel? B, is it supporting my own mission? And is it in alignment with my higher mind and my values and all of that kind of stuff? So I think discernment is really important, and it seems to be missing in a lot of what's going on right now. I have watched the telephone game. Matthew and I were talking to each other a couple of days online. We did one of these little things, and it was really funny because it was like at its height. a couple of days ago where people were sharing the same post over and over and over again and saying that it was true and it's what was happening right now. But the reality was that it was a post that had been done like, or an article that had been written like years ago, and the pictures were from years ago, but people got excited and they read the headline and didn't even bother to actually read the article and what it said inside. So this is happening. We get this kind of, we have all this mass panic or mass excitement about an event that people think is happening that may not be happening. But the true point is where do you want to expend your energy, and how are you, being of service if you're just slapping stuff out there without really paying attention to what it is. That's actually kind of a big deal, because it adds to the mass hysteria and the anxiety levels that people are experiencing right now. Even though I'm not seeing it a lot, but I am feeling that kind of low level anxiety, and I think it's contributing to it.
Mm.
Yeah, and I just want to hop in here, and I feel so resonant with you, what both of you are saying, is that we need to realize that we are creating our reality not from our thoughts alone and not from what we believe in alone, but from literally our energy. And so I feel like when Barbara is talking about discernment, it's also about discerning what reality we're in and we're co-creating with. And so if there's a part of us that is stuck in a certain frequency that is still exchanging energy with, the false reality or the parasitic reality, or the one that, lies to you and say that your life force comes from the grocery store and your job, this is like the time when we're literally, the light workers, at least, like, we're creating and jumping into this new field, or the original field, the old field, the one where the trees are growing on, right? The original matrix that life is actually growing from. And so when we come back to that realization that every single person has to go through that process, and no alien or government is going to come and reconnect your energy system to the organic grid for you, that's like where the programs comes from, because the program keep you operating inside the false reality. And so everything that we're talking about here is about focusing on the task at hand. The more people that are tuned into the organic grid, the easier it is going to be for mass humanity to migrate to that organic reality as well. So I think that's what we're focusing on, discerning what our energy is going to. Are we feeding the artificial reality, or are we feeding our own journey, reconnecting to the organic reality?
Thank you. Thank you. I couldn't agree more. Just to add a little bit to that, the way I sort of discern or see or just observe the energy of the moment with respect to society and government and, whatever the negative keywords that we're not supposed to use are, just insert them there. But to me, this is truly a timeline choice point in the incarnational cycle of every single person that is here. And if you're one of the, we got almost 200 people online right now. If you're one of those people that's watching this, there was no mistake. You didn't click on this thing here today by some random occurrence. I just dropped into this strange broadcast on YouTube. It was not a mistake. You're part of this group of individuals who chose to be here during this time, who chose to make these interesting, these interesting kind of calls and like changes and transformations in your life. And we are at that point right now. And so I think when we talk about improving our discernment or really monitoring the emotional sensationalism, or what is ultimately a great wave of energetic manipulation that is also being thrown upon this great underbelly of stuff that's being, destroyed right now, we have a choice on where we put that focus. And so the overall kind of vibe or the idea behind this event here today, and I'm just going to say it, we're here to assist this soul group in anchoring this highest timeline, that new earth, that organic timeline that Z's talking about, that place of clarity and discernment and empowerment that Eric and Barbara are talking about, that's free from the negative programming of, I guess, what we would call that parasitic construct, for lack of a better word. But that said, as we continue on, I'm going to ask once again, if you're watching this video, please do share it, help us get the word out. In just a few minutes here, we are going to go ahead and start with Mr. Eric Rains. He's going to be taking us through a process of just kind of opening up the body, whatever he has in mind. But before we do that, is there anything else you guys want to say, you want to throw out there, anything at all before we begin?
All of you are awesome.
I'm excited. It's going to be awesome. And I'm super excited for everybody watching. And I just want to thank you guys in advance for participating and also just making sure you're using your own personal discernment. So we are going to be taking you guys through a little journey here. And if something doesn't feel right for you or true for you or whatever, you're welcome to go ahead and be okay with that and just turn it off, or maybe wait until the next person comes on. That happens with me sometimes, even with people that I really love. It's just my guides are like, no, don't do that. So if that happens, please by all means, just use your own personal discernment.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, you can always, kind of step to the side energetically.
Yeah,
You're
exactly.
like, oh, I'll just watch
do your
this
own
one
little
from over here.
meditation.
Cool. Anybody else? Anything else? See any last words before we start? Okay, cool. Okay, so here is the schedule, ladies and gentlemen. If you're one of the people that is watching us, what we're going to do is go ahead and start with Eric in just a few minutes here. Z, Barbara, feel free to click off the screen if you want to just be a part of this. You can also stay, but what we're going to do, you guys, is we're going to give it up for Eric for about 30 minutes. He's going to take us through his own process here. And then we're going to pause for just a few minutes afterward and let him take any questions. So we're going to go for about from about 12:30 to 1 on West Coast time with Eric, and then I'm going to go ahead and step in afterward. If there's anything I would like to offer to the group before we begin as a suggestion, it's a phrase that I use in my own work and my own workshops, and it goes like this: the level to which we experience this energy is directly proportional to the level at which we allow ourselves to fully participate in this unique process. And so if you're watching this and you're here with us, this is one of those times in your life when you are free to throw yourself into this energy. This is a safe place for you to connect, for you to join with and be a part of this higher self expansion, this energy, this ascension, and this great healing that we're doing here today. So I have rambled enough. We're going to hand it over to Mr. Eric Rains, and I'll be back with you guys in just a little while. So thank you. And Eric, take it away, my friend.
All righty. Okay, so what we're going to be doing today, like I said earlier, is we're going to be tuning into sickness. The viruses that are plaguing this planet right now. They're like little tiny nanobots. They're like organic robots, and they only do one thing, which is propagate and spread. And this right here is something that we can actually tune into. It's a frequency, but in order for us to tune into it, we have to start turning off the controls inside of the brain with the sight, the hearing, the taste, the touch, and the smell. And we have to go into the activation of the body brain. And this is a lot easier than a lot of people seem to realize. And one of the easiest ways to start activating these energies is simple belly breathing. And so what I want everybody to do is when you start to inhale, consciously relax your pelvic floor, relax the solar plexus in the tummy, relax your chest. And when you bring in that breath, move your belly button and your chest as far away from your spine as you comfortably can. And it's a big, deep inhale. And then completely relax and don't push, don't pull, let it go. It's almost like you're blowing up a balloon. And then completely relaxing that balloon back down to zero so that you're not empty breath, but you're about maybe a third when your body completely relaxes. Let's go ahead and sink into this for a little bit here. And I'm going to play some sound frequencies myself. Thank you, Z. You really got me started in on this here. Deep breaths, everybody. Focus and calm. As you're breathing in here, allow the thoughts to shift into the background. And begin to give yourself something to focus on besides the thoughts, which is always sensation. When you're breathing, your body's moving, your bones are opening, the muscles are shifting, and it causes your skin to start moving underneath your clothes. That sensation right there, it's very subtle, it's very soft. That's what I want you to start tuning into. Feeling the way that your body shifts your skin with billions of nerve endings underneath your clothes. I want you all to pretend like you've got a volume dial attached to these sensations. Meaning as soon as you pay attention, they start to get stronger. They start to get more obvious. Attach a volume dial into that turning up and make them louder. Some of you might be feeling warm tingles. You might feel swirling. You might not feel anything at all. That's okay. The more you pay attention here, the more you open up those neural pathways to access the body brain. I want you to spend the next minute turning these sensations up. If you find that the thoughts distract you, it's okay. Just move them into the background and feel. Access the body brain by tuning into it. Don't ask, don't wish, don't hope. Simply point your attention there and do. Just like that, turn it up, make it strong. And as you're feeling these warm sensations, these tickles, these prickles, these tingling sensations inside of the skin, put a gentle smile on your face. And as you inhale, pull the feeling of the smile deep into that tingling sensation. And turn this all up. Make it strong, make it beautiful. Show your body what you want it to feel. Don't ask, don't hope, just do. What we're going to start to do now is as we inhale and we turn this warmth, this tingling, this movement, whatever this awareness is inside of you, we pull the smile into it, we're going to start to blow up our balloon. What I mean by this is your bubble, your auric field, this isn't something that's static. This isn't something that's permanent, stuck in place. This is something you can activate. You can turn up, you can turn on, you can shift to whatever color, whatever frequency you want it to be. Just need to know how to get into it. And as you inhale, pull that smile in, feel the body expand. Exhale and push the sensation out of your body like you've got a balloon that's blowing up and you're inside of it. As you inhale, turn that sensation up even more. Exhale and blow the balloon up even stronger. It's like you're filling the space around you with the tingling smile. Let's try to turn this up even more. You can always stretch just a little bit more, even if it's only a tiny amount. That tiny amount means your container got just that much bigger. And each breath is an opportunity, a space to focus, a space to stretch. Turn this up. Make that smiling softness that you're feeling start to echo the laughter of little children. That's so fun to watch. You guys are great. Turn it up. Feel it. Really make this something that's deeply embedded inside of your bones, your muscles, your skin, your organs. Feeling your nervous system light up with this innocent, beautiful sensation. Feel that bubble around you get strong. Feel how it starts to lift, almost like it's making you lighter. Now we're really gonna make this fun, really gonna activate this. Start to follow your breath in. The same sensation you are using to feel the skin moving underneath the clothes. Tune into that feeling of the wind as it pulls through your face, and turn that volume dial up, following it all the way back through the soft tissues of the throat and all the way down into the chest. And as you exhale, blossom this tingling smile open out the top of the head and down and around the sides of the body. Let me turn off my camera real fast here. I don't know if you can see my picture, but what it is a sun in the center of the body, the center of the chest, and a blossoming light field all the way around. That's what we want, to inhale that smile into the chest, exhale and blow that bubble up. Feel yourself rising, feel yourself lifting, feeling the sun up above you. And as you rise, the light gets more intense. The light gets stronger. You can feel the heat, the radiance, the power. Start to grow. Recognize that you're not in your body anymore. You're floating up and out of it. You're moving outside the bonds of this planet. You're getting into the unfiltered, pure sunlight. And from this space outside the body, your imagination is your only limitation. So begin to inhale and grow, turning yourself into an absolute titan, bigger than a mountain. Feeling the sun brilliant up above. Looking down below at the massive earth spread out like a tapestry in front of you. Seeing the brilliant blues, the verdant greens, beautiful whites and grays as they mix inside of the sky. Now listen. Here. Wherever you start hearing, that's your base, that's your focus. If you can hear the people, Turn it up. Listen to their thoughts. Listen to their feelings. If you can hear the earth, turn it up. Listen to her radiance, the nonstop growth and evolution, perfect state of being. Whatever you might be hearing right now, turn it up as we're sitting outside of the planet looking down. Now, almost like we have a radio and we're turning the knob from station to station, I want everybody to start to focus in, tuning into illness, tuning into sickness, disease, and listen to how that sound becomes so discordant. There's no harmony. It's brutal, very jagged. And the way that we transmute is by holding on to dichotomies, two opposite ends of the spectrum, and then bridging that gap. I want you to hold one hand out, placing it over the damage, over the disease, the wounds that are on the entire planet. And take your other hand and reach behind you into the sun. And begin to pull that sunlight, that beautiful angelic harmony, those crystalline frequencies of beauty right next to that disease, holding them together. Listening to the harmonies, the radiance of that beautiful angelic choir that you've got connected into with your hands that went to the sun. Holding space with the wounded, painful anguish of this disease, this illness. And not just viruses, everything. Bacterial infections, viruses, wounds of the psyche, diseases of the soul, they're all in here. And here's where we get to make our choice. Which do we prefer over the other? Not in the space of judgment, but in a complete objective tuning into what it feels like. Do we enjoy these beautiful harmonies? Or do we enjoy this jagged, uncomfortable frequency that's damaging? And with that knowledge, inhale into your hand with the harmony, with the beauty, pulling that smile into it. And as you exhale, wash the entire planet, pushing that liquid, that light out of your hand over the entire surface. Like a beautiful layer of soothing, cooling light. A cooling balm that goes into the raw, wounded, irritated spaces. And as we hold this shift, feel the spaces that change. Hear how the sound, the frequency, the feel starts to shift. And anything heavy that won't move, simply drop the weight out from underneath it and let it suck right down into the fires of Gaia in the center of the planet. Let Mama transmute it. She takes what we look at as death and she breaks it down into individual components that give birth to new life, turning the rot into compost, if you will. Turn this up. Feel this frequency becoming stronger. more harmonious. There might be scar tissue. There might be damage from infection that's still there. But the foundation frequency is shifting, it's changing. And that's the power of human consciousness. That's the power of human intention. And we are not a very big group. There's billions of us here. And yet this small group of less than 200 is capable of changing very much. Allow yourself to become clear. Again, the land of make-believe, your imagination's the only limitation. Become a crystalline human. It's bigger than a mountain, floating like satellites with the rest of this group looking down at the earth. And feel the sunshine behind you. Just like a magnifying lens, focus it. Let it shine through you. Let it carry your joy. Let it carry your laughter deep into the suffering on this planet. Just like we're spraying water at stuck, dry dirt. Might take a little bit for that pressure to make its way to saturate through. But just hold this space. Brilliant beacons of light, of laughter, of forgiveness and love. Turn it up. Make your magnification stronger. There we go. There we go. Let it go. Let it dissolve, let it transmute. And let's begin to cover the earth in that brand new energy, that brand new sensation. Feeling it sparking new growth. Feeling plants starting to shoot up out of the earth. Feeling mycelium, that white fuzz that turns into mushrooms and fungus. Feeling it breaking down the spaces that are decayed, that are rotten. Feeling the trees standing tall, soaking in that starlight, either from the sun in the day or the stars at night. Feeling that universal wisdom ringing. Feeling it taking over the virus. Feeling it taking over infection. Feeling those diseases of the soul. Those diseases of the psyche. Feeling everything starting to shift, starting to move. And feeling new life growing inside of the collective, just like we felt on the earth. Listen. See how much it's changed already? It's like we're listening to the life inside of a forest. That craziness of the collective isn't the loudest space anymore. Now, ever so gently turn your gaze directly to your physical body on the surface of our planet right now. And without losing any size whatsoever, begin to inhale into your physical body and pull that massive mountain-sized crystalline human that we're sitting out here floating as right back into this tiny little body. Might take a little bit of cramming, might feel a little bit uncomfortable, a little bit pressurized for a bit. And if you feel that as you exhale, dissolve that pressure into soothing, cooling, clean sensations. Allow yourself to sit inside of your physical body as this massive, beautiful, natural human. Ever so gently begin to wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, feeling your body starting to come back. Big deep breath in. Thank you for allowing me to facilitate this journey. This was a lot of fun. You guys did a really good job. Does anybody have any questions? I'll go ahead and look at the YouTube here. Looks like we've got a gap. I'm still seeing myself talking here on YouTube. Let me check out Facebook real quick here. All right. Cassandra says that was great. Yeah, I thought it was too. You guys did all a really good job there. That was a lot of fun. You know, and when we get into these types of movements, when we start really shifting the body in on these levels, one of the things that is capable of happening is incredible transformation, immediate transformation that opens up the doorway into a path that is, it's beautiful. It really truly is. And when we start to embody that space, when we start to allow ourselves the freedom in order to do something that truly is amazing, it starts to make it easier. You start to really recognize how beautiful and amazing you actually are. And this is the biggest thing that I see humanity suffering from, is they're scared of how bright they are, and they're scared of how powerful they are. Because if we're this strong, if we're this beautiful, if we're this powerful, how could we have allowed something like this to happen? And well, that's why we're here. We didn't allow it, but we're the cavalry, we're the backup. We are the ones that we are waiting for. And the more that we step into this space and truly embody it, the more powerful it becomes. All right, I'm seeing quite a few things coming through here on YouTube. Let me, thank you so much, Eric. I felt it. Yeah, that was fun. Wonderful, Eric. I was covering the earth and then myself in soothing aloe. Aloe, yeah, that's a really good frequency right there. You know, everything's physical. As above, so below. If you recognize the way physicality works and then you feel something etherically that has an irritation, if you have that same type of a feeling that you can equate to a physicality, and then you have something that you can use to make that physicality feel better, you can start energetically creating something like aloe vera. Like if we were tuned into like a burning sensation, like a sunburn, aloe vera would have been a beautiful frequency to light up in your hands and smooth over that burn. And then all of a sudden it starts to fix itself. You know, transmutation, alchemy, it's key here. I was yawning quite a bit. You know, it's really funny when we start yawning, that's the actual vagus nerve release. It's where we start getting everything to release that tension that our muscle memory is holding on to inside of the body and start to let it go. And the yawning is one of the biggest things that actually starts to release that pressure inside of the body. So that's it's a good thing there. I feel like I need to make my energy bigger. Is that just practice? You know, the thing is about these types of movements right here is whatever you can feel, that right there is where you're at. And if you want to make it bigger, it's almost like you've got a cup. And if there's a blockage to keep you filling that cup up, that means that there's something concreted in there. And usually that's trauma, it's negative emotions, it's things that we don't enjoy. And so going in and cleaning those out, it fills your cup up more and you can fit more of that energy in there. And then when you've got it to the fullest and you turn it up and make it stronger, that's how you stretch your cup open so that you can fit more inside of it. And it definitely takes practice. Like I didn't get here overnight. It took a lot of work to get here, but it's really easy and it's a lot of fun. And every breath is an opportunity to really make something more of yourself. And it's thank you for that comment there. I had to pop my ears for the pressure coming back into the body. Oh yeah, we start moving some really interesting energies when we do stuff like this, and we allow our massive self to come back into the physicality. We stretch out and we clear out all kinds of things in the physical. I didn't catch until the end, hoping it will be left up for the weekend so I can come back and do it with you all in no time. Lots of love. Oh yeah, it'll definitely still be up. So, this is my first experience with you or anything like this. I'm definitely looking forward to doing it again. Thank you so very much. You're very welcome. You know, like these types of energies right here, as soon as you know how to access the body brain, things turn on. So burping lots, and I felt the back of the neck just below the skull opening up. That right there, that's your governing vessel meridian. And so you've got 2 meridians that power all the other major organ meridians in the body. One starts right at the perineum and it goes up through the spine, over the top of the head, and then all the way back down the front. So it's like this big loop in the body right here. And then it powers that central channel in the middle of the body. And it also gets the yin and the yang meridians, the meridians that flow from earth to heaven and from heaven to earth to start charging up. And when you start opening up stuff like that, that means that you had a blockage in the back of your energy centers right here for the skull. And it meant that it was hard for you to use your third eye effectively. And don't get me wrong, sight is really not that important when it comes to the energy body. The feeling's the most important, because if you can feel the dimensions, the shape, the height, the frequency of something, all you have to do is overlay color and you're seeing. So good stuff, you guys. Your voices are making my crystal sound bowls resonate on their own. So beautiful. That is really cool. My body was vibrating. My hands were irradiating light. It was a lot of, I felt that a lot of love, and I sent it to the world. It was awesome. You know, and that's the thing. Like, if we know how to feel something, we can create it and then we can broadcast it. You know, this is the language of light right here. And this is why getting out of the words, getting out of the thoughts is so important, because once we can get out of that space, then we can feel deeply, and then we can send those frequencies. And unfortunately, right now, humanity, we're masters at this, but we don't recognize a lot of its black magic, because we're thinking about something that we don't enjoy, and then we're feeling those emotions. And by thinking about it, we're tuning into it. And by feeling those emotions, we're making a connection on the dense level that way. You know, and this is why you can, you know, cut physical contact with people, and yet you still got big issues with whoever you cut physical contact from. And it's all about going in and feeling those emotions. And then, just like we did, where we held that discordant virus sensation and that clean, pure, beautiful energy sensation, and then we transmuted them together. We held them both at the same time and said, you know what? I don't enjoy this. It doesn't feel good. This right here, though. And then we made that into that. Same thing. And then you do that inside of yourself, and then you send that back to the people that you don't have clean connections with. So, all right. Where can I learn more about the meridians that you're speaking of? You know, any quick Google search will bring up lots of information. There's lots of Chinese medicine websites out there that you can go in and look at. Actually, I've got a book right here. So this one right here, this is the Complete Book of Chinese Medicine by a guy named Wong Q Kit. Every single book this guy's written, it's beautiful. It's phenomenal. He's a 3rd generation Shaolin Grandmaster. And he's been educated in the United States, so he can actually apply those really deep esoteric concepts to ancient Chinese language and translate it for us so that we can understand. He teaches a lot about that. All right, I think I've got like 30 seconds here. George says, thanks, Eric. Seems like we are at a watershed moment on the planet. How do you see it playing out? Do you feel we are on course for a collective healing? Yes and no. We can choose whatever we want. That's the beauty of free will, you know. And right now, what I'm seeing more than anything is a clamming up. You know, like this physical quarantine is making it so that people are kind of, you know, clamming. They're shelling themselves up against other people, against physical contact, against energetic contact. And right now, one of the most powerful things we can do is start to expand ourselves out, because, you know, trends, the majority rules. And if the collective majority decides that it doesn't want contact, it doesn't want connection, then all we can do is, you know, be inside of our little bubble with people who do want it. And then from that space, we can grow it out to make it bigger. But right now we need connection more than anything. All right. So I think yep, it's 1 o'clock right now. So I'm just going to go ahead and mute myself right now, and we're going to let Matt take over right now. So thank you all for joining us, and I'm really excited to see what comes from the rest of this. These guys are amazing. I'm going to be right here doing it with you guys.
Thank you, Eric. And thank you to all of you guys that are hanging out so far. We really, really appreciate you. If you're part of the group that is watching on Facebook, please do share this video. Get the word out for everyone else that's out there today who may be in need of healing, or really just needs to like connect with the higher self, with that soul group, with the energy of the moment, and really bring in healing. So I really want to thank Eric for being here. Incredible energy. I felt a lot of movement myself in the throat and in the chest, and I'm really, really loving your comments. So for those of you guys that are still hanging out, we're going to be moving on to the next phase of this. I'm going to take us through a process in just a few minutes here. In the meantime, before we get started, go ahead and go run and go to the bathroom. I noticed somebody had to pee. That is perfect. This is the perfect time to do that. You can grab some water if you'd like. Check in with how you're feeling. One of the things that makes this section, which we're about to go into, a little bit unique is that it's a very, very free form type of healing, or sort of like a meditation that we're all going to be doing together. At the beginning, what we're going to be doing is synchronizing our energy bodies. We're going to be linking in our respiration and our heartbeats. And it's a very simple and easy group synchronization process that I like to go through in the workshops that I do. I believe one of the things that happens when we go through this process of synchronizing our energy is that it creates what I call a fourth density bubble, or like a container, a sphere of energy in which a group can safely and cleanly operate, cleanly engage in healing. It's a shielded zone in which you will feel free to connect with the true emotion and the true energy inside your body. And so as we get ready to get going here, go ahead and grab some water. You guys can get juice if you want. In the next section, what we're going to be doing is there's no mudras or mantras. You don't have to hold your back straight in any like particular way. Really, your only mission, you guys, as we start this next session in a few moments, is to just allow yourself to receive whatever that is. And we're also going to be taking that one step further, because if you choose, I'm going to be asking you guys to be a part of this healing, to take an active role in that. What I mean by that active role is we're going to be creating a sound. It's a tone. It's the primary transmission method in the work that I do. And for those of you guys that are just tuning in, my primary work at this stage, just like Eric and Barbara and Z, who are here with us today, is in opening up the fourth density energetic non-physical layers of the human body. That can be the chakras, the organs, the meridians. And if you're wondering at this stage, for just a really good clue, if you're wondering, just say hypothetically you clicked on this channel and you're like, I wonder what energy system in my body might be the most immediate and direct toward opening up and releasing the severity and the intensity of the moment, the craziness that we're feeling. In my opinion and experience right now, that is within the meridians, within the meridian body for people. And a lot of us are experiencing blockages in a few key areas. For those of us that have that crazy running loop and that ongoing circular pattern of thought that kicks in when you're standing in the shower, or when you're laying in bed at night and you're kind of laying there with your eyes closed and that running loop kicks in your head. Well, that's very common right now for those of us that are experiencing a lot of buildup within the upper chakras, but also within a few meridians that play a very important role in the energy that goes through our discernment centers in our brain. And one of those, very, very commonly heard of at this point, but that's the gallbladder meridian. We're going to be doing possibly a bit of work on that. I noticed a lot of energy moving in Eric's session, just in terms of, that energy moving away from the sides of your head. So check in with how you're feeling, you guys. We're going to take this one step further, but getting back to the modality that we're going to be using today, it is known as scalar toning, and it is a form of extraterrestrial, it's an extraterrestrial healing modality that was given to me through a very, very distinct and particular out-of-body experience I had in December of 2017. In the years since, I have taken and worked with, and I believe really developed this frequency to the extent in which we are now able to move a scalar wave harmonic tone through areas of the body. And so today we're going to be doing that through two systems in your body in particular. Number one, like we mentioned at the beginning, the vagus nerve. Eric touched on it briefly. It is the 10th pair of cranial nerves in your body. I believe it is the longest nerve, hence the name vagus, also meaning wandering nerve. What it does is it runs down the side of your neck, all the way down through there, and it links with, I believe, every single one of your organs. And so at this stage of our collective evolution, many of us have heard of this and they're aware of this structure in the body, but we might not be aware of the level to which it is playing in the awakening and the transformation process that we are all in right now. And for those of you guys wondering, what is that? It is called fourth density. It is the next stage of your consciousness, the next version of you, the stage in humanity's evolution in which we begin to move outside of the human body, outside of what we call the linear movement of time, and into what some people call at this stage, the astral realm, outside of the human body. And so what happens as we continue to move outside of the human body is we also encounter the forces, the energies, the frequencies, an additional layer of everything that exists in the non-physical realm. And so what we're going to be doing here today is using the modality of scalar toning to help open up those areas. So to be very specific, when we go through this healing protocol, I'm going to ask you guys to play along with me. And we're going to be creating a sound with the human body. It's not a song that we are singing. It is not a note that we are playing. It is a vibration that we will be using to help unlock and truly, truly move energy through the body. And so it's a sound that we make. We take a deep breath in and you allow a vibration to be like created in the body. So what we're going to be doing is aiming that at a few areas, a few structures, and creating true clarity. And so let's go, let's go down to another area in which we're going to be working, and that is the lymphatic system. At this stage of the game, without using any negative keywords, we all know what is going on, with people at this stage. We know about the illnesses and we know about the pandemic. And no matter where you stand on that, it is undebatable within the human body that one of the keys toward developing true immunity, toward developing this impenetrableness and this clarity within the mind-body-spirit complex is in the lymphatic system. So today we're going to be using scalar wave toning to really open up and mobilize fluid in a few areas of the body. First off, in the lymph nodes underneath your neck. And as I say this, I'd like everyone in the group, just bring your awareness, bring your attention right down here to your chin. Some of you guys are going to feel those lymph nodes and you're going to notice there's a bit of a swelling. Those of us that have also been dealing with the virus as well, or whatever, in any form, you may notice a little bit of a swelling there. So we're going to be focusing some energy on expanding and moving that fluid down under our arms into these big bundles of lymph nodes that we have there, and then down even further into a very specific spot in the human body. And after we're done here today, I'd like some of you guys to Google this and do some research on this on your own, because it is a very important place in the human body, and that's called the cisterna chyli. By my understanding, it is, I believe, that largest lymph node. It's, for many of us, it's kind of right above and behind your belly button. You can imagine it like a little sack of fluid that's hanging out in your body. And it's one of the stagnation points for many of us that are dealing with the emergence of that new self. As we go through this awakening process, we start to open up the solar plexus. We move into what is called yellow ray activation. And at that stage, clarity becomes more powerful than ever in the body. And so many of us right now are dealing with stagnancy in those areas. And so we're going to move a tone, a very specific tone through the body, down into that cisterna chyli and all the way down into those inguinal lymph nodes and the popliteal lymph nodes down in your groin and behind your knees. We're going to be truly mobilizing this fluid in the body. And what does that do? It creates clarity. It allows clean discernment. It allows emotional discernment. And so I'm going to ask each and every one of you guys here, truly, truly join in with me. Let us begin. And so I'm going to go ahead and real quickly look down here for any important questions before we get started. But as we do, I'd like you guys to just settle in, get comfortable, allow yourself to just kind of begin breathing. And I'd like you to start acknowledging. You could even look at the chat, look at the people that are here. Maybe some of your friends are here from Facebook or YouTube. Maybe even some of your family members are here. As you allow your body to settle in, I'd like you to start that deep, deliberate breathing like we were doing with Eric earlier. I'd like you to start acknowledging that you are amongst a group of multidimensional beings, a group of travelers, a group that chose to come here and incarnate during this very, very important time in your cycles, in your incarnational cycles, those versions of you that continue to come back over and over again and exist as a human. Look at those people that are here today from all over the world. We're at a stage right now in which we've been put on a timeout, a restructuring. Humanity has been taken off of autopilot, and we are now taking the control back. Where does that control? Where does that sovereignty? Where does that empowerment begin inside us? Now, here, today. We're choosing that new timeline. And so as we begin here, I'd like everyone to really, really just kind of lie down, sit down, lean back. Start taking some deep breaths all the way down in your belly, like there's a balloon down there, deep and slow. Breathe, really allow those emotions. Acknowledge that energy. Acknowledge the people that are here with you. And I'd like you to actively reach out to that childhood version of you inside you. We each have one. They're still there. Reach out to that incredible childhood imagination within you. And everyone, as a group, begin breathing at the top of your head. We'll make it even easier. I can tell some of you guys are already feeling that energy at the top of your head. And as we begin to synchronize, I'll count from 3 to 1, and each and every person here will all take a deep breath in together, like a group, like a unit. Hold that breath for just a moment, and then we'll exhale it. We're synchronizing and locking in our energy for maximum impact. And so let's begin that process. Here we go, you guys. Let's take a deep breath in together and hold that in 3, 2, 1. Hold it. And exhale. As you exhale, make that sound like a snake, like you're depressurizing the body. Very, very good. We're going to lock in one step closer. Imagine all those beings in this group, in this circle, all those multidimensional travelers that have come together today. Let's truly lock in that energy. We're going to take one more deep breath in, everyone. Here we go. In 3, 2, 1. Deep breath in, hold it, and release. Bring in that vivid childhood imagination. See yourself breathing at the top of your head. Listen to the sound of your breath moving down your nostrils. Some of you out there, you can even imagine yourself standing in front of a mirror in your mind's eye with that childhood imagination. And take a look at yourself in that mirror in your mind's eye. Take a nice slow breath in. As you look at yourself in that mirror in your mind's eye in that astral realm, notice what you notice. Maybe your hair moves if there's hair up there. Maybe you hear that breath moving at the top of your head. Maybe you feel that energy beginning at the top of your head. We're going to take one more deep breath in as a group and truly, truly lock in, beginning to open those upper chakras. And we'll start bringing our attention. It's like warm water that begins to trickle down the body like a shower. We're going to feel that energy begin to trickle down to the sides of your neck, behind your jaw, underneath your skull, right along the sides. And so let's take that deep breath in and start to pull our energy down into that vagus nerve, into those pathways, creating true clarity in the body as a group. In 3, 2, 1. Deep breath in and hold it. And release. Very, very good. Allow that warm energy, allow that liquid, allow that light, allow those points of light, those sparks, those sensations, those emotions. Bring them down to the sides of your neck, right behind your jaw, behind your skull, underneath your ears. Allow that childhood imagination to show you, even if you don't know where it is. Allow that higher self to guide you along the way. Very good. We'll take one more deep breath in as a group. You guys are doing really good. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Deep breath in and release. Completely deflate the balloon. Very good. Bring your attention and focus up to the very top of your head, right at the crown. I'll be placing my hands right at the crown of your head, beginning the depressurization process in the body, and then we'll move directly down to the sides of your neck. Here we go. In the name of the one infinite creator, we welcome those guides, guardians, ancestors, and family members, all those guiding the members of this multi-dimensional soul group into the new earth, into the new timeline, into the new realm of sovereignty and the full realization of their mission here in this human body. We welcome all those of you that have chosen to assist in alignment with the Christ consciousness and the true organic ascension. Thank you. We ask you take your focus, your energy, and for those of you here with us in the physical realm, you can even take your fingers, place them at the sides of your neck, at the back, right underneath your ears. We're going to begin today with a very rich and full tone. We're bringing a vibration into the vagus nerve. Allow that childhood imagination to work with you. Allow your emotions to flow and simply acknowledge what shows up. I'll be creating a tone and you are free to join me. So let's focus in, sides of the neck. And so we'll be taking a deep breath in together. Here we go, everyone. In 3, 2, 1. Nice slow breath in. And let's very gently detach that energy. You can do it with a snap. You can do it with a pull. You can simply exhale, release, and just notice how you feel. Notice the movement. Acknowledge the emotions. Acknowledge the energy, and especially the stillness in your body as we move one step lower. Let's take another one of those deep breaths in as a group. Let's lock in and bring that energy down into our chest. Moving it down a little bit farther, we're actually going to bring it right on down to the base of your rib cage. So let's take a deep breath in as a group, and I'll move that energy down for you as well. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Deep breath in. Hold it. Move it down to the solar plexus. Right there you go, right at the base of your rib cage, and we'll pause it there. Good job. Take a nice, slow, easy breath in. Acknowledge the emotion and the movement in your body. We're going to begin the lymphatic expansion, the movement, the flushing, the pulsation of energy and lymph in the body, creating true clarity. Take your hands, place them right at the base of your rib cage. Some of you will even choose to create some pressure. But let's continue that deep, slow breathing. We're going to synchronize, and then we're going to bring that scalar energy right into the center of your body, and notice the fluid, notice the movement. For some of you, you may feel your ears begin to ring. Some of you may yawn. Some of you may cough. We allow whatever that is, whatever the emotional current that arises. This is old energy going down the drain. So let's mobilize that lymphatic system. Take your hands, place them right at the base of your rib cage, right in the center. Good job. And so we're going to synchronize before we begin this vibration. Once again, close your eyes. Lock into your body. Notice what you feel. Some of you are beginning to feel a trembling, a movement in the chest, in the belly. For some of you, it will extend under your arms, or down into your groin, or behind your knees. For some of you, your feet will begin to get cold, or your ears will ring. Let's just take a deep breath in and synchronize down in that solar plexus. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Deep breath in and release. Bring your energy to that solar plexus. We're going to create the vibration. Once again, allow that clarity, allow that emotion. Acknowledge who shows up in your memories, in your body. This is old energy going down the drain. Let's take a deep breath in. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Take a nice slow breath in. Good job, everyone. Acknowledge the movement. Acknowledge the emotion. Very, very good. You have an excellent movement going. Let's bring that one step farther and all the way down into the hips, into the psoas, all the way down into your bottom, near the perineum, right underneath you. So we're going to take one more deep breath in as a group, and we're going to pull that energy from the solar plexus all the way down, one step farther. You are truly doing this. Let's take a deep breath in, and I'll move that energy for you in 3, 2, 1. Hold it and release. Good job, everyone. As we begin this final tone, I'd like you to actively reach out, visualize, see it in your mind, feel it, hear it, taste it, smell it. That new version of you emerging in 2020. The next stage of your mission, the transformation, the new you. It's coming online now as a group, as a soul group that gathered here together today. Very good. Bring your attention all the way down into the roots, into the groin, into the perineum. Very good. We're going to truly expand. Find that new version of you. Let's step into that new timeline. Take a deep breath in as we synchronize in 3, 2, 1. Hold it and release. Ooh, very good. Hold that energy right underneath you. Some of you guys are going to get a tremor in your body. You're going to get shaking. Your feet may feel cold. Your ears might ring. You're doing really well. Let's create that vibration in your body. This is your time. This is your activation. Here we go. Take that breath in 3, 2, 1. Nice, easy breath in. Gentle, relaxed, open, clear, renewed. Good job, everyone. This is a very new process for many of you here today. And for some of you, this is the first time you've truly begun to mobilize your lymphatic fluid or to create true energetic movement in your body. Acknowledge what shows up. Acknowledge your emotions. Acknowledge your memories. Acknowledge those programs. This is the energy that you're moving and activating today. So I want to thank each and every one for being a part of this unique process. Allow yourself to come back into the room, into the here and now, April 4th, 2020. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So please feel free, put any questions in the chat. How are you doing? How are you feeling? Good job, you guys. Very, very good. Good job. So we're going to be bringing Miss Barbara Buck in a few moments. But before we do that, let us know how you're doing out there. I'm going to check some of your comments on YouTube. This is a very new process for a lot of people. So let's see how you're doing. We're going to scroll through. Good job, guys. Can we see the whole Pluto shirt? Yes, you can. Pluto, never forget. And so for those of you guys who don't know, I believe there's a bit of a Pluto-Jupiter, I think it is, a conjunction at the moment. It's a very, very important energy. Good job, everyone. Silent tears rolling down my cheek. Thank you for being a part of this. I truly, truly appreciate you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I felt a deep inner ear vibration. That's a beautiful thing. That is also a sign that you're beginning to work with the vagus nerve specifically. There's a bit of an outdated kind of like a maneuver that you can use in the body sometimes to really start to push that vagus nerve energy. And it's really as simple as just plugging the nose and very lightly pressurizing your ears. It's called a Valsalva maneuver. It's one of the ways in which people can really begin to push or open the energy of the vagus nerve. So when we feel a bit of an ear movement there, that's often because there's a pressurization somewhere within that area of the body. So thank you. Thank you very, very much. And so Teacher Sally says, wow, my bowls were vibrating. I love it. Thank you. Thank you so much. I love that vibration. That is a very, very good sign. Feeling warmer and calmer. I love it. Like energetic vomit release out of solar plexus. Thank you, Janet. That is actually a very positive thing. And for some of you guys, there's going to be an emotional burn off. You're going to feel a movement. When we truly mobilize lymphatic fluid in the body, there's a change. There will be a physical shift. And for some of you guys, you're going to notice big emotions. You may notice you even feel triggered. And that's actually a good sign because that tells you your body is truly dumping that energy. So be gentle with yourself and truly, truly honor the emotions. And especially as we prepare to hand it over to Barbara, I want to ask you guys for a very, very special thing. Monitor what shows up in the morning. When you wake up tomorrow, the first thing you notice or think of as you awake, just notice what shows up. And so I thank you guys for being a part of this, and we're going to hand it over to Barbara. So hopefully, yeah, there she is. Thank you. How you doing?
Hi, I'm all relaxed now. And I mean, seriously, with the clearing that's going on with the two of you, I'm just going to be doing a little bit of like tiny bits of mop up. I mean, I'm feeling really good. I have a feeling everybody else is right now too.
Cool. Well,
Yeah.
well, thank you for being here. We got 196 people in the chat. I'm going to hand it over to you. Yes, please hang out, everyone. Barbara's going to take over here. I love you all, and thank you for being a part of this process. Z will be on after Barbara, and then we'll do some Q&A if anyone's still hanging out. So I'm going to pass it over to Barbara. I love you guys, and I will see you in a little bit.
Hi, everybody. So I thought that was really wonderful. The thing that's very cool whenever like I work with Matthew, because he's kind of like my go-to guy for healing right now. Whenever he does that toning stuff, it's really interesting. When I'm doing the toning with him, it's like I can hold it forever. But when I try to do it myself, that doesn't happen. So he has this kind of super like magical fairy dust or something that he sprinkles on all of us when we're doing toning. So hopefully everybody's feeling really good. So I'd like you guys to just continue to stay focused on the energy that's moving through you right now from Eric's beautiful journey that he took us on, and Matthew's amazing toning techniques and clearing techniques. So go ahead and just stay in that space if you can. I'm going to talk to you guys for a minute about programming, because what we're going to do is we're just going to, you know, if there's any little bits and pieces that may be left over after you do all of these clearing techniques that these guys are sharing with you. Sometimes what happens is that we have programming that we have picked up in a number of different ways. Most of the time it's on an unconscious level. It can be, you know, beliefs that we may have picked up from a religion or from social media or from our family. We can have programming that can be completely unconscious. You have no idea that it exists. We can have synthetic programming. There are all kinds of different ways that we can get this. You know, just being on social media, you get a lot of programming that you're probably not even aware that you have. So, you know, you can have it stored in the brain. You can have it stored energetically on a cellular level, on a genetic level. So we can even inherit programming that we're not aware of. And we can just pick it up from the environment or the people around us. So anything that kind of, you know, the words that we hear, all that kind of stuff. So this is right now we are going through a process of programming, so to speak, through the intense levels of kind of fear-based stuff being shared on social media and in the news and amongst friends and family. So it's really important for us to start to recognize that this kind of stuff is, we're running programs like this, and that it is affecting us. And I know a lot of people are deciding to kind of maybe not be on social media as often, or you know, they want to, like, you know, maybe just step away from the news and things like that, because they're aware that it may be partially responsible for what's happening. But also recognize that we've been getting programmed around belief systems, around disease, viruses, ever since we were little. So these are things that we picked up that are kind of sitting and hanging out. And what these programs can do is when they get triggered by specific words or images, what can happen is we have kind of an automated impulse. We can practice automated impulse behaviors, or we can just get triggered into maybe feeling low levels of anxiety or fear, or even starting to become symptomatic of a disease, even if we don't have it. I personally had this experience when I first started hearing about this virus, and I got a little cough. I was having like a little bit of a symptoms of the disease, even though I didn't have it. So it's really interesting how our bodies can respond and our energy fields can respond to the programming that we have around us. So the way that we can kind of figure out what our programs are is, or the possibility that we have maybe a program running around something, is we want to recognize if we are kind of having a lot of polarized thinking or thought distortions about things. If you feel extremely intensely about something and you're not really sure why, but you just get super triggered, you've probably got some programs running. If you are having a lot of negative self-talk or fear talk, or even just having low levels of emotions and you're not really sure where they're coming from, or if you go into survivor mode and you don't really want to do anything and you're just kind of waiting around, that can also be coming from programming too. So what's really interesting is all of the different places that it's stored. I have a little technique, it's very easy, that people can use. I walk my clients through this to help us to kind of hack into our programming without going through this whole process of trying to find out exactly what it is. Like, where did it come from? Is it past life? Is it current life? All of these different things. That's not really what the most important thing is. What the most important thing is that we just go ahead and we clear it, because right now we are going through this process of shifting consciousness. We're going through an ascension process, and today is a very big day for that, as many of us know, and so we don't want to take all that stuff with us. So what we can do is, the easiest way to do it is to kind of hack into the programming through the body. So what's really interesting is that when you start to think about all of this stuff that is on the news right now, with the virus and everything, I want you to start to just like intend that it come up somewhere in the body, the programs that are around how you're feeling right now, and maybe all of these unconscious programs that you are running that you're not aware of around illness in general, around the fear around the economy and that kind of thing. So what you want to do is, the first thing that we want to do is just to take a couple of nice deep breaths. Okay. Close your eyes and just kind of chill out for a second. And recognize that we do have programs around fear, around victimizer programming. We've got synthetic programs that we may be running. We've got all of these kinds of things. So what we're going to do is we are going to ask our body to tell us where we may be holding a program around this virus in our body. Okay, we can kind of hack in. We might be holding it on a cellular level, on a genetic level, ancestral, energetic, whatever. It doesn't really matter. Just ask your body to tell you where to go. So what you want to do is you want to relax your neck and relax your shoulders, and you want to wait until maybe you feel a little tension or tightness somewhere, maybe a little pain, maybe a little bit of discomfort. Maybe you're feeling a little bit of emotional energy. Maybe you're just feeling really super awesome with what we've been doing so far. And if that's the case, you can just go ahead and put your hand on your thymus. Just close your eyes and feel those good feelings, and you can share them with everybody else and hold space if you choose to. If not, just go ahead and continue to feel how you're feeling. For everybody else, if a spot is coming up, I would like you to put your hand on that area and close your eyes. And the first thing that you want to do is just kind of thank your body for bringing you to that area, because we're going to go ahead and we're going to clear any programs that may be contained within that area on a cellular level, but we're going to clear them in all levels. We're going to clear them in the mental, in the energetic, in the physical, in the genetic, in the cellular. We're going to clear them everywhere. Okay. So take a couple of deep breaths and go ahead and focus on that area and maybe the sensations that you're feeling. You want to become really embodied with this. Just relax your neck, relax your shoulder. If any thoughts come up, just recognize, or any emotions come up, just recognize they're just coming up for clearing. So don't even worry about it. You just stay nice and relaxed, allow it to come up. Emotions are just a physical response to something, and more often than not, if we're holding them on a cellular level, they just need to let go. They're just coming up for healing. So you just want to kind of relax your body, focus in on it. And in the best and highest good and in alignment with your ascension timelines and your higher mind, what we want to do is we want to start to command our organic messaging. And I would like you guys to, you can either repeat after me, or you can just go ahead and say it in your head and listen to the sound of my voice. I delete all victimizer programming, synthetic, subliminal, familial, ancestral. I delete automated impulse behaviors that may be synthetic, subliminal, familial, ancestral. I delete any and all fear-based programs that hinder spiritual growth in all layers of my physical and energy bodies that may be synthetic, subliminal, familial, ancestral. Now you want to just go ahead and allow the feelings that you may have been feeling to come to surface. If they're still there, just go ahead and sit with them for a minute. If you feel like they're moving out of the body, maybe you're not feeling the bodily sensations that you were feeling before, or you're starting to feel a little bit less dense or anxious or fearful, then what you want to do is you want to replace those programming with some energy. So you can create a golden orb in the center of your head or in the center of your chest. Make it really nice and bright and strong. And once you feel like it's strong enough to where it just looks like the sun in the center of your head or chest, you can go ahead and move it down to the area where you were feeling the discomfort. If you didn't have an area and you just had your hand on your thymus, then go ahead and move it down into that area and just start blasting golden frequency into that area. You can even make 2 or 3 or 4 orbs if you want to and just start blasting them out. And I'm going to help you guys right now by sharing a bunch of energy with you while you're doing that. And cleaning and clearing in all time space. Transmuting any denser energies that no longer serve. Wow, it feels really, really good in here, you guys. Okay. So when you clear a program, you want to replace it with something that is supportive. So we're going to do that right now. If you have your own thoughts that you would like to replace this program with and these programs with, you are welcome to go ahead and do that in place of what I say. So in the best and highest good and in alignment with your ascension timelines and our missions, you can either repeat after me or you can just say it in your mind's eye if it feels good to you. My inherent natural state is well-being. My inherent natural state is freedom, free will, sovereignty, and alignment. My inherent natural state is grace and love. My inherent natural state is to be empowered and powerful. So just go ahead and allow that energy to run through you, recognizing that you had really, really incredible healing today, and that you are a big part of this planet and its ascension process. You are connected into it, you are of it, and you are living on it at this time. So thank you so much for being here and sharing this with us. So you can take a couple of nice deep breaths and recognize that there's a lot of energy moving right now. I can feel it. And everybody feels so amazing. I would love to take a couple of questions. Mine only took 15 minutes because everybody else did such a fabulous job. I didn't have to take you guys through a whole process that I normally do. Does anybody have any thoughts or any questions? Okay, let's see here. All right, I'm just going up through the thing to see if anybody has any questions. I see that people are having kind of some, they're feeling the programming in different parts of their body. Maybe feeling a little bit of allowing themselves to feel emotions that they haven't really allowed themselves to do. That is so incredibly important as we go through this process. Because a lot of times what happens is we're just trying to kind of get through the day, so we tend to ignore how we're feeling, and we need to give ourselves the time and the opportunity to sit back and go ahead and allow those emotions to come to surface and let them be felt. If we try to stuff down energy, or we try to stuff down emotions, that's how trauma gets stuck in our bodies. That's how it gets stuck on a cellular level. It's how it gets stuck in an energetic level, is us basically not allowing the energy of an emotion to express itself in a healthy way. What I mean by that is not like screaming at somebody and throwing things. I'm talking about just allowing the energy of it to come to surface while you're in a relaxed state, not having any judgment or pointing it in the direction of anyone. And as it, the more you just allow your body to feel things without stuffing it down, the less likely you are to experience the intense levels of programming and triggers and traumas that we all experience here on this planet, going through what we're going through. So does anybody else have any questions? I know I stopped a little bit early here. I didn't take as long as the boys did. Oh, you're welcome, you guys. Thank you. I'm grateful for you guys too. Eva says that it felt like my crown chakra expanded and energies moved down into me and pushed away my focus on a programming. Well, kind of that's what happens when we're doing clearing, is that we don't have to sit there and have this complete and total focus on what that programming may be. We just give it permission. We give ourselves permission to let it go and to let the light in where that shadow or that density may have been. So that's really beautiful. And that's kind of the goal of this exercise here, is to just go ahead and let it go. Catherine says, thank you, still clearing. Yes, whenever you do energy work like we're doing today, not just with me, but with Matthew and with Eric, this can tend to cause a shift that will last for a few days, meaning it's going to run through you as your body and your energy template starts to get used to having kind of more flow. It's funny because your energy bodies are really interesting, especially when we get into the meridian layers of it, because what happens is when we walk around out of alignment for so long, what happens is that it's almost like when our back is out of alignment, so we go to a chiropractor and the chiropractor pops it back into place and we feel really good, and then it starts to go out of alignment again, because we're so used to holding our body in a certain position that we don't really know what aligned feels like. So after we get it adjusted a few times, then all of a sudden we start to go, oh, this is what it feels like when it's aligned, and this is what it feels like when it doesn't. So when we start doing energy work for ourselves, this can happen to where you can start to tell the difference, but it will still continue to go on. So you may have some shifts in the ups and downs and things like that as you get more comfortable being balanced and in alignment with your energy bodies. So Sarah Bear says, I'm feeling releasing and calming sadness. Yes, sadness is a real common feeling that people are feeling right now. Part of it is there's a grief process that we're going through because, things are really different. And a lot of us have had to let go of a lot of things. I have friends who have pretty much lost their jobs or lost their income. We've lost people that we care about. Also, a lot of us are alone and we don't have people around us very often. So that can make people sad. So I think that there's a little bit of a collective grief, and a lot of us on this call today are empaths, and we're also helping to help humanity by clearing this energy out of the grid systems of the planet and out of the human collective. Let's see, anybody else? What is synthetic programming? That is a can of worms when we're talking about the parasitic construct. Sometimes we can have what you call synthetic programming. What that means is that it is kind of placed there for us. This can happen with our genetics in our DNA. It can happen through implantation. And other things. That's a whole nother can of worms. So when we're talking about synthetic, we're just talking about false programming that we did not kind of absorb on our own. It was placed in our field. Now, I want to make it clear that I'm not talking about victimization here. I'm just talking about something that can happen as part of our process as human beings, because we do live in a reality right now that has some, a little bit of interference in it. So that is something that can happen. Anybody else? Somebody's asking how to remove implants. That's just a whole nother can of worms. All four of us on this call, Matthew, Eric, Z, and I, we actually do that for a living. So meaning that we all have different types of protocol on how to do it. Eric has just a ton of really fantastic information on his website that you can read about, and videos and things like that can help you to do it on your own. Matthew does as well. Matthew has dozens of really fantastic videos that can help you to start to move energy, shift your paradigms, heal yourself on multiple layers. So I highly recommend that you go to, if you're watching this on YouTube, well, just go ahead and look at Matthew's other fantastic videos. And Eric's YouTube channel is, I think, Unleashing Natural Humanity. And he's got a lot of really good stuff on there, and also his website. And Z just has some extraordinary videos as well. I don't have a lot because I don't like being in front of the camera. But you can, if you find that none of those tools are working and you may need some extra help, we are all available to, we'll make sure that we put our information up in the chat so that, you guys can contact us if you need to. Let's see. For those who get headaches, it might be international resistance. Likely a program is triggered. Some will need to reach out to Barbara, Eric, or Matthew to get some extra support to clear. Well, there you go. I said that so already. Anybody else have any questions? Let's see. Monica says, I felt that I had the permission to be here. Even if I knew it before it was confirmed right now. Yeah, that's wonderful. So for me, it's not even, permission meaning like it's in alignment. That happens to me a lot when I do these like group things. Like one of my friends is doing it, or I'm kind of interested in doing a group meditation on, you know, somebody else is running it. Sometimes I'll be like, you know, I kind of want to be here, but all of a sudden I'll get this kind of ping that's like, oh, okay, yes, I'm really supposed to be here. Half the time I'm not really supposed to be there. You know, it's just kind of something that I'm doing and I end up getting bored and turning it off. But sometimes I get that kind of inner tone or note that says, yes, you know, this is the right place for you to be. Let's see. Oh, good. So Lala said, thank you, Barbara. The heavy energy I felt on my collarbone, which felt lighter after the healing. So that's wonderful. That's what happens is we hold a lot of this programming and trauma in general, we hold it in the physical body. And so if you have like a chronic ailment anywhere, like maybe you have a chronic problem in your right hip, because I had that for a long time. More often than not, there's some kind of trauma or stuck emotions that are being held that are causing a little bit of a block in energy flow. And a lot of times that is, you can also find programming contained within that, because we tend to kind of pick up how we have holding patterns on a cellular level and a physical level. We can tend to pick that up from our family, believe it or not. We can hold it in the same place. So good. I'm glad that you had a little bit of relief from that. That's exciting. So we've got a few more minutes here if anybody has any questions for me for about anything really. And then I'm super excited to throw it over to Z in a couple of minutes, who is one of my nearest and dearest, part of my soul fam, my star fam, just like Matthew and Eric are. And I just could listen to her all day. And whenever we do something like this and we get to have her here, it's like my favorite part of the whole thing. Let's see here. Oh, somebody said stomach acids clearing. That's another really common thing when you do this kind of work, is your belly will make grumbling noises. Everybody experiences that. Somebody says they're having ringing in the ears. What is that? That is just something that can happen sometimes when you've got a lot of energy moving through the field. I'm not sure what it is. If you feel like it continues or it's unpleasant for you, maybe you can try to go through the process again of really actually focusing in on the ringing in your ears and seeing where that may be coming from or what kind of programming may be connected into it. Somebody says, Maja says, I think I put too much pressure on myself to feel good and clear everything. And then I get a bit frustrated when I don't really feel that. I do that too, Maja. I do that too sometimes with these things. I'm like really, especially if maybe I'm not feeling good or I really want to like go ahead and get rid of all of this stuff. So what I would suggest to you is that you give yourself permission to get the healing that is in your best and highest good to receive, and then just let it go. And just don't, when we try too hard, that puts a lot of energy on what we don't want as opposed to what we do want. So sometimes what we want to do is we want to just say, you know what, I give permission for whatever is supposed to happen. And, you know, you may not have gotten something now, but maybe in Z's part of this presentation, her beautiful music and her toning and her transmissions may be just what you need. All right, you guys, thank you so much. You feel just so wonderful. And I am so excited and honored to introduce you to Miss Z, who is just about to have a baby soon. And I'm so excited. How are you, Z? Are you on?
You guys hear me?
Yes.
Cool.
Bye, love. Have fun.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Barbara. That moved a lot of energy for me. And this whole thing has been so beautiful. I just love hanging out with you guys. There's so much resonance here. I'm just so happy. I'm full of joy just being here. Hello, everybody that is still here. I'm really looking forward just a little bit about something that has been coming through this vessel lately. It says simplicity and this lucidity. So there's a lot of different ways that we can perceive what is happening on the planet right now. There's a lot of different narratives and stories and all these different layers that we can be looking at the reality through. Receiving, we as a humanity, we are moving these programs that includes, different false belief systems that aren't actually real. So, for example, a lot of we're receiving life force energy from the grocery store. We think that artificial reality that we are exchanging our energy is that we're reality, and from the time we're very young, we have to this reality built to support and encourage our
Okay, and it looks like we might have lost Z there. Unfortunately, guys, we did lose Z. So I'm just popping back in before she gets reconnected. And so yeah, we did. We had a little bit of a glitch there. So thanks you guys. While we wait for Z to come on back, I'd like everybody on this live stream. We got over 100 people there. Let's just wait for Z to roll on back in. I'd like everybody here. Let's focus on clean. There we go. Clean connectivity. All 4 people rolling back in the room. How you doing, Z? Can you hear us?
yes.
I can't even do that.
The gremlins are real.
Okay. Back to it.
Yes. Okay, go ahead. See how we're doing.
All right, guys, just hold my Wi-Fi steady there, and
don't worry, Z. We'll come back if it drops.
All right. So we were saying we are reconnecting to the organic matrix, meaning that we are reconnecting to the true source of life, the true source of our energy. And so it's almost like we're removing this middleman that made us feel like we had to depend on it, the false reality survive. You don't need to be going to food. You don't need to be going to the artificial frequency, and that's a lot of this interference that we're feeling. And so a part of this process is reconnecting to our organic or original source life with the earth, the minerals in the soil, the air, the sunlight. And when we begin to actually reconnect to original life, we're literally removing the character that we needed. Artificial reality is supporting our life. And we move back into resonance with the truth of vibrance, abundance, and aliveness. That is the truth of life on this planet.
Yeah, I think we lost her again. All right.
Well,
Sorry,
we're still
Z.
getting it. Every time you drop out, we're gonna roll back in. Thank you, everyone. How's the connection, Z?
So wild because
Maybe we should stay on and just like focus our undying love and energy towards Z so she can hear this
Actually,
clearly high
let's try it.
frequency transmissions that keep killing our Zoom feed.
Totally. Okay, we have over 160 something people on the YouTube chat. We got 4 people here. Let's focus in. Z, go ahead and try it again. Let's see if we can keep you on.
We'll just ground you out a little bit
Wow.
here.
Here we go.
my internet was really holding up, and it's just, I live out in the forest really far away from civilization. And actually just last night we were watching like this dystopian sci-fi show by Philip K. Dick, and it was showing all these like buildings and stuff, and I was like, Brian, wow, like we world. Oh, hold on here. Right. Oh man.
I can see you.
Yeah, we can
Yeah.
see you.
I can see
All
you.
No
right.
worries.
Well, okay, I'm just gonna start singing because.
Please.
Go for it.
All
We're
right,
with you.
let's do this.
Thanks for hanging out, everybody. We're going to focus our energy on Z and just allow this transmission, all those guides, guardians, ancestors, family members, bring it on back. And we may be frozen again.
Yeah, I think she's actually singing right now. I definitely feel something happening.
I can feel it. So you guys,
Yeah.
so that's great. Just like Matthew said, just focus on receiving the energy that she's sharing.
Yeah, there she goes. We just dropped her out.
No worries.
Coming back
How
in.
are you guys feeling out there as we get Z coming on back? How you doing over there? Let's let your thing stabilize.
Well, I see you're moving now. Are you there, Z?
She's too powerful.
Breaking the internet.
She's breaking the internet.
So while we're waiting for Z to come back in, for all you guys that are here, once again, we got a lot of questions in the chat and people coming through with just, ideas and stuff that's going on. Feel free to reach out to the individuals here. Once again, Eric's website is unleashingnaturalhumanity.com. We also have Barbara Buck here. I believe you're at barbarabuck.org.
That's me.
Is that correct? I am at rememberyourmission.com, and I think Z is at earthstarhealer.tk. I believe is that the extension at the end of yours still, Z, or is it .com? Hopefully you can hear us.
Earthstar.tk.
Boom.
So somebody said in the live feed, if you turn off your video, the audio will stream better. So maybe we could try that. Can we hear her? Oh, I think she cut out again.
Man.
It's all good.
Yeah, let's take some questions.
Oh, there we are.
children inside, with our innocence inside, with our children. Bring apart of ourselves whole, breathing love to our children, to our fragment, to our parts. Amaya Jaya Amaya Amaya Jaya Thank you, Mother, for holding us and allowing us to grow and experience and evolve as souls upon you at this time. We are in connection. We are in reciprocity. We are to nourish her as she nourishes us. Here we are reconnecting to the organic Gaian consciousness, where we exchange directly with the source of life, where we exchange directly with the source of life. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Everybody take a deep breath in. Any questions for Z? Beautiful, thank you, thank you. Throw them in the chat.
That was beautiful. Thank you, Z.
Are you napping, Eric?
No, I
You
can't
got
start my
nothing?
video because apparently I didn't turn it off earlier. Matt's got to turn it on for me.
Oh, sorry.
Really?
Yeah, I actually, it should be
Oh.
on. I'm so sorry. There we go. Yeah, I was about to
I'm back.
turn it off earlier, but yeah,
I
here we
just,
are.
like, got so connected into Z's gorgeous thing. I almost did
Yeah,
the
I
same
just kind of
thing. I
zoned
was
out.
sitting there, I'm like, yep. And I was like, wait a second, I forgot to click off.
I totally didn't. Like I saw that he turned it off, so I couldn't turn it back on. I must have been just like sitting here on the screen with my eyes closed.
He has all the power.
All the power.
Cloud locked.
Thank you everyone for being here today. Each and every person has brought something very, very individual, very, very unique into this time, into this great awakening or transformation or restructuring, or what is ultimately everybody that is still here, you know, moving into that new earth timeline, into that ascension, that thing we all came here for. So for those of you guys that still want to hang out, throw your questions in the chat, any questions and comments. For those of us four that are here that want to hang out, we're going to go through and just look at some of the questions and talk about stuff for, you know, until anyone's ready to leave. So any questions, throw them on in there, but we'll start out with Z. How are you doing? How are you feeling after that experience? And once again, thank you for being here. Truly, truly. But yeah, how you doing?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah, sorry.
Sorry.
You talking to me?
That was so fun. I'm so excited. I just love working with all of you, and I just feel such a coherence and deep understanding and resonance. And yeah, I've invited all of you to facilitate at this amazing event that I'm trying to organize in September. But apparently there's a global pandemic happening right now. So I'm kind of like, oh, they're like,
I had no idea.
Pandemic? When did that
I
happen?
have no idea what you're talking about.
So yeah, but it's gonna be in September, and I just want to experience what that could look like. So yeah, I'm just really excited to experience working with all of you, and I'm stoked. I'm so happy.
We're so glad you got to come. You know, you posted a comment at the very beginning. You said there was a question from Marisa. It said, I feel like I need to make my energy bigger. Is that just
Oh, that was
practice?
from Eric. Yeah, that was from
Really good.
Eric.
You guys, did you answer the question?
Yeah. Yeah.
You did?
Yeah, it was all about the
Really good.
container part. Like we can fit only so
Oh,
much,
okay,
and we have to
gotcha.
clear out the rest of it, and then we grow our container.
I missed that.
It's all internal willpower. You know, it's like learning how to push without pushing. It's like, you know, if something won't move and it's intangible, you can't physically push up against it. So you have to start to flex your will to move. And it's a completely different way of shifting inside a reality. Even though it's not physical, it's still physical. And the more that we turn those volume dials up, the more that we make it stronger, the more that we get things moving and opening up on that level, the faster these types of things start to really take place. My big breakthrough that I had in 2014, that was every single day, just a little bit more. I could feel it a little bit stronger. And then one night, everything just, boom. It was like I was, you know, trying to open a rusted shut door. And each time I was pushing up against it, it added on to what the last one did up until it blew wide open. And that was when I became aware of all these systems here, you know, and it wasn't something that there were like immediate results every single day. It was just something that I was doing like, well, I know there's something more and I'm not quite sure what it is, but each time I do this, I'm getting closer to it. And then there was the big stuff, you know, so it wasn't like an immediate, like all encompassing light epiphany that, you know, spread through the whole entire body all at one time. It was like these little tiny increments that got bigger and bigger and bigger until boom, connection.
Yeah. My breakthrough was energy immersion as opposed to shielding.
Yeah.
So energy saturation as opposed to trying to shield things and keep them out, because I was kind of vibrating in resonance with a little bit of victimizer programming I had going on, and being a little bit afraid of things and in resonance with that, which is the opposite of, so kind of did the opposite of what I wanted. So just immersion and like saturating all of the cells and all of the particles of your being with frequency. That's when you were talking about making your field bigger, that's just going to be a natural way that it's going to get healthy and strong, you know. I see some questions here. Did you see this one, Matthew? What thoughts do you guys have about the shift in 2027 when the crystalline children are going to start being born? Will we also be able to transform into a crystalline being?
That is a very good question. That's actually the one I was about to tell you about right then when you said that.
I knew it.
Yeah. Thank you very much. I didn't see who that was. I think that was Maya Ullman. Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you very much for that question. By my understanding, in my opinion, I believe the 2027 timeline is one of an infinite number of possibilities. Right now, in my opinion and experience, the crystalline children are already being born. There's one with us right here in this moment. About to pop out, and so I believe we are seeing we are seeing that process now. And so when people talk about this ascension or the transformation into crystalline from carbon, this is a thing that is already happening. And if you are one of the people that is here on this broadcast, it is my opinion, because you chose to come here to be a part of this process. And so it could be 27, it could be 23, it could be 20, it could be right now. In my opinion, we are already in that process, but that's just how I see it. Anybody else?
Yeah, without a doubt, like they're already here and they've been here for a while, you know, and like with what's happening on the planet, like we've got all this density that, you know, you have light on the outside that can't make it through. And so that's why we're here. We're incarnated. We're on the inside. So that way we can pull our way out to that outside edge, and then that connection is made. And so we have clean flow back and forth through the earth, and the light gets brighter. You know, like these kids have been here for millennia now, and they've been working in that tiny itty bitty little space that they had, and just bit by bit getting it bigger and bigger and bigger until December 21st, 2012, when we finally had that polarity balancing where the dark didn't hold sway anymore. There was enough light on the planet for everything to kind of even out. And now we're starting to see it go in the other direction. And, you know, they've been here the entire time. It's just now that there's more information, there's more energy, there's more capability for these understandings to make themselves known inside of this reality. Because, you know, a lot of us here in this room are crystal children, you know, the 200 people that are watching, including us up here on leading the program for you guys. But there's only a certain amount of frequency that can be expressed at a given time if there's no more access to it. And so, like, say for instance, we've got 10 million people who are trying to all get drinking water from one well, from one pump right there. And that right there, it's going to be big, long lines. Everybody's not going to get as much as they need. And, you know, everybody's still going to be kind of thirsty. And that's what these things were for a long time. But now we've got more wells that are popping up throughout the planet. Now we've got, you know, reservoirs that are saving water, you know, and like then people can go not just, you know, drinking, but swimming and, you know, get some hygiene going, you know, and the more of that quote water is here on the planet, the more it can be expressed. And the more there is, as these children are growing up inside of that environment, it's normal to them. They don't have to go through the programs that we've had to, and we aren't going to have a whole generation of wounded healers who need to understand what trauma is to help people get out of it. And it's just going to get cleaner. It's going to get more expansive. And as we build the stairs for these temples, you know, they're going to be the ones that are in there, like finishing off the statues and, you know, like figuring out what to do inside of it. We're just building a structure right now.
Somebody just asked me if I was self-soothing because I'm rocking. No, I feel the energy kind of in waves, and sometimes I just kind of move with the way the energy is flowing, and it's just a natural thing that I do when I'm around high vibing people. I can just feel the frequencies, and it just makes me kind of naturally move with it. That's why
I want to hop in here real quick and just say that, you know, there's a lot of questions saying like, when is the ascension happening? Like, when are we going to have new earth? I just want to redirect that back inside because it's actually, you know, all of us are living in our own timeline or whatever. And it's like the more we can anchor in a new frequency, the sooner the collective is going to experience that as a shared reality. So I like to say that if you want to see how New Earth is doing, you don't have to look any further than, you know, yourself and how your life is and where your frequency is at. Because again, it's not something is happening to you. This light frequencies from the universe is not hitting, you know, to you. You are here to experience the ascension. And so, you know, focus on that and see how you can align your life more to a higher frequency, align yourself to more new earth values and experiences and ways of creation. And then you won't have to rely on things outside of you to tell you, you know, how the ascension is going. And that ties in with the 5G and everything because, you know, from this perspective, we are infinite creator beings. We literally create, you know, worlds and the whole reality with our consciousness. And so if we are in a high enough vibration, then these things don't have to, you know, affect us. And that, you know, how do we raise our vibration? We have to heal ourselves, bring back our fragmented parts, everything that we've been talking about, you know, here. So there's no fear. We're literally the most badass mofos, mother lovers. Badass mother lovers in the universe.
That's true. That's true. That's why everybody wants some of this, you know. That's why everything's playing out here in the earth realm right now, because we have these beautiful bioelectric meat suits we've got going on here that are, you know, really popular. I think I agree with you too, is that a lot of times I've been seeing a lot of ascension school teachings and such that are you know, all this like shift into 5D, we're going to a new planet, everybody's going to jump onto this new earth or whatever. And it's like, as a grid worker, you know, it's like, really, do you know how much time I've spent trying to get these organic grid lines up and running along with the rest of us? So it always cracks me up, really, you know, understanding that we're already in 5D. Meaning that there is aspects of us that are already having that experience in 5D, as is the planet. You know, we're multidimensional beings. We're already living there. It's a matter of where we're directing our consciousness and where we're directing our attention. And sometimes we just can't see it when we're in the denser energy, and in the earth plane, our consciousness is directed towards 3D. It's just a matter of just shifting your consciousness into that time space and into that dimension. And like what Eric was saying before about the crystal kids, saying that they're already here, it's the same thing. So I think that there's a lot of, somebody said a little bit earlier, they were talking about the, vaccines and the crystal children and how that's going to affect them and that kind of thing. I think that what Z just said is, it holds true for that as well. That, we have to kind of stop worrying about externals affecting us at this point. We have to start going inside. I love it when people say inner standing. I think it's super cool, and I feel too dorky to say it. Like I just can't even say it because I feel like a total dork saying it. But going inside and doing your healing work, clearing your trauma, and all that lovely stuff, connecting into your your blueprint or your mission stuff. Sorry, my husband's making some food while we're doing this. Connecting into your smart part and your authenticity and your reason for being here and your mission and all that kind of stuff. That kind of stuff ceases to be an issue. It really does. 5G,
Yeah.
everything, all that stuff. And the new kids coming out, they've already got all the codes instilled. So, they might be sensitive, but they're sensitive because they're telling us to stop polluting the environment. And they're sensitive because they want to be in a more organic state of reality than we are currently experiencing right now. So that's how I feel about it anyway.
Definitely. And like the ascension isn't something that's just happening to us. Like this is something that we're actively creating. And those aspects of us that are in 5D or whatever you want to call it, fourth density or whatever that other place is that we know is real but doesn't manifest inside of physical reality right now, the more we embody that space, the more we're literally pulling that energy from the future into right now. And that's what forces the shift. It's something that we're actively creating. This isn't happening to us. We're the ones making it happen. And, it actually ties right in with some of the other questions that I was seeing. Like, do we need to shield ourselves? Do we need to protect ourselves? Like, how do we protect ourselves? Well, the trick is it ties right in with all of this right here. When you go in and you find those inner traumas that you're holding on to, when you find those triggers that are genetic in nature that were passed down to you, and you go in and you heal these places and you open them up for whatever you want to create, you're not only making more room inside of your vessel to hold on to stronger energy, you're helping that transition into 5D because you're making it right here and right now. And at the same time, it turns you into a sun. Now, does the sun need to protect itself? It really doesn't. It's just transmuting. It's doing what it does. And I don't care how much darkness we go and dump into the sun, it's going to transmute all of it and oftentimes not even realize it's doing it because it's so focused inside to what it's doing. And, that's how we protect ourselves is we create such a sovereign, beautiful space that anything that is not of that space that tries to go inside of that, it dissolves because, what happens when we turn on a light in a dark room? Like it's as above, so below. It's the same exact process here. And we've just got to find what's holding on to darkness inside of ourselves and release it. And then we can illuminate it and everything gets brighter. And anything that tries to come in and connect from that level right there, it's like a shadow touching the sun. It immediately dissolves and then there's no connection to begin with. It like all ties in at the same time. We don't have to protect ourselves. What we need to do is shift this reality into fifth dimensional understanding, and that protects us. So
yeah, thank you. I'm gonna go ahead and jump in on that one next, just to kind of, I guess, piggyback off what Eric was saying. To be very specific, I think when people talk about shielding right now, because this is actually one of the #1 questions that I get in the private work that I'm doing, and people come in feeling as if they've been attacked or exposed, attached, or implanted by some form of negative energy. And in my opinion and experience at this stage of the game, it's not so much about directly or specifically shielding the human energy body from energy, but what it really is about is reducing what I call the bait frequency that exists within us. And to be very specific, what is the bait frequency, guys? It is the level to which we are holding unhealed, unexpressed emotions in the body. in my own specific work, you guys, I have not been one of those people that's been targeted by negative entities that want to, you know, make me physically ill or cause some kind of physical thing in my life. A lot of mine has been through the energy of emotion. And so one of the things I've discovered is going through a process of what some people call shielding, I think is really generating an awareness of the level to which we are sharing, interacting with, and sending energy from all around us. And we're at a stage right now in our collective evolution where so many of us are walking around completely open, unaware of our ability to transmit and send energy. So there are many protocols I think we can use for shielding. There's a million of them. There was a phrase though that was given to me very, very early on in this process. It was like this weird sing-songy phrase that would play in my head. And it was something like this. It said, the strongest shield you can ever create is one of your own design. And at that stage in my life, I was dealing with a lot of external energies that were coming at me. And I had a lot of questions. How do I shield? How do I stop that? For me, it was an individual process. And so I think for those of you guys that are here, that are like, do I need to protect myself? How do I? That's an individual process. I would say the beginning of that comes with the understanding of it. It's really about, you know, healing and allowing whatever it is within us to, you know, be released. And so I don't know, I might have just rambled and said the same thing you did, Eric, but shielding is individual. And it's really your own sort of awareness that will tell you if it's needed. Anybody else want to take that one?
Sometimes you got to hear things twice.
Yeah, seriously. And you know, you put it in such a completely different way than I did too. Like, you know, like it's perfect the way everything meshes together. It's because we work in the same place and we understand the same things, but we go about it different ways. And that leads to different understandings. And so then when we start talking about it and then we put all of our minds together, you know, it's like with your powers combined, like all of a sudden here's super information, you know, and it's perfect, man. Absolutely perfect.
Thank you.
Somebody asked Eric, if you want to touch on it briefly, Eric. Eric, can you talk some more about the cones to neutralize the 5G? Are you talking about plasterite or?
Oh, yeah, yeah, plasterite. So plasterite is some really, really interesting stuff. It's a version of organite, but it's not with resin, metal, and crystals. It's actually plaster of Paris, which is powdered gypsum, and then beach sand. Yeah, and so it's like you've got your quartz silicate and your powdered gypsum, and when you put it together and it hardens, it becomes a piece of programmable selenite. And it's a lot uglier than organite, and you need to have a lot of it. And so what I do is I actually get traffic cones and I'll duct tape the bottom, and then I'll pour that in there. And as it sets, once it hardens, you can dump it out and it becomes a cone about like this big. And you can do all kinds of really interesting stuff with it. Like the crystal charged water that you use to harden it, that you use to mix it up before it hardens, you can sit there and put it in the sun and you can meditate over it. You can put intentions into the water, and that actually comes into something that you can program inside the plaster itself. And these things they're just really amazing. Like I've seen about a 30% power bill reduction because it transmutes all the bad EMF radiation that burns off in the devices before it even gets into the house. And it actually cleans out about maybe a half a mile of the grid around you. But if you go and you look up a YouTube channel called Plasterite by Jenny, she's a lady who lives in Ireland that I met her in one of these the Plasterite forum groups on Facebook about maybe 3 or 4 years ago. And she's been really a huge pioneer in this right here. And she's got a whole tutorial to show you how to do it. And she does a lot of other stuff that is, it's not extraneous. It's like fine tuning, I guess you could say. But if you don't want to do all that extra stuff, just the plaster, the beach sand, and crystal charged water, that's more than enough to get a really effective piece going. And this stuff is so strong. Like the first time it ever activated around me, it was like a thump that went through reality. And then half hour later, it was the bluest sky I've ever seen in my life. It's really amazing stuff.
People call them tower busters. Is, you know, people will bury them by cell towers and, you know, things like that. So they call them tower busters because it totally kind of clears the energy around it. We used to have them when I had a house. I don't have a house right now. But when we had a house, we had them. We buried them in for each corner outside. And it really had an effect on the EMFs and stuff like that may be coming in. And also it always seemed to be nice and beautiful. Like there was this kind of cone of beautiful, like energy and clear skies and stuff over my house all the time. It works. It's crazy. I don't know. I don't under, I kind of get how it works. Yes, you can program it, but
I don't.
Seriously, it seriously works. It really does.
Yep.
It's ridiculous.
You
It
know,
works
and
better
it's
than
so cheap.
crystals, yeah.
It's
like
so cheap to
$5
make
for
like a bag
of it.
like, yeah, well, the bag of sand's like $5. Like you can get play sand at Home Depot.
Yes.
And then the plaster of Paris, I think it's like $17. So like altogether, it's like $25 for the makings of like maybe about 60 to 70 pounds of plaster. And like it's not the prettiest of stuff. I like to paint it. I spray paint it and put like galaxy scenes on it, and it makes it look pretty cool. But it's just a big white lump that you can put inside of like 2-liter Coca-Cola bottles, which, by the way, if you I don't drink Coca-Cola, but I still buy it because it's one of the best industrial cleaners you could ever use. Like you can dump it in your toilet and it'll clean everything out. Like I can't believe people drink it. But you can fill it up inside of those bottles right there, and then you let those harden, and you can toss those into water, running water. It turns that whole entire stream into a positive orgone broadcaster. Or like Barbara was talking about, you can bury them next to cell towers, and they actually go through the earth to start creating a positive generation inside of that cell tower. And then the EMF radiation and the frequency broadcasting, the bands, like whatever it is, it just stops working. And you'll actually see people come out there and they'll try to adjust it and they'll work on it 3 or 4 times, and then they'll just give up on it. And it's a really easy way and cheap way to, combat these $2, $3, $4 million towers. I honestly don't even know how much they are, but like it's not as big of a deal as people seem to think it is. Like there's so much that can be done to neutralize these frequencies internally, externally, and we've got this. We've totally got this.
Fear not.
Mm-hmm.
And just one more word on the shielding. I personally find that, things usually can only resonate and trigger you if those things are already inside the body. Almost like,
Exactly.
Somebody was saying that when Eric was singing, like their crystal bowls are resonating, is reverberating because there's a resonance. So if you're feeling like this ties into somebody saying about narcissists as well, that ties into this, usually our sense of worthiness. It's just like the other opposite end of the spectrum of feeling worthy of love and being treated properly. So if there's a part of you inside, maybe when you're a little child, you learned that, you're not worthy of love, like your parents kind of ignored you, you've been preparing for this baby and looking into things, and some people like put their newborn babies in a crib and just like let them cry all night. And so many of us grew up in that environment where we really didn't know if there was enough love, if we're worthy of love. That's kind of what the false matrix is built on, is our insecurity and our doubt of ourselves. So all of these are little holes in our body, especially our sense of self. When we're talking about the sun, our solar plexus, our sense of self is a really important place to explore as we're moving into the organic matrix, because for the first however many years of our life, we lived as, I am not a divine being. I'm not as good as this God that's outside of me, that's so much bigger, that's judging me, and I might not be good enough to go to heaven. These are very subtle, subconscious belief systems about our sense of self. Now, what is true is actually that we are, infinite, divine, creator beings. We are powerful. We are worthy. All of the beauty and nurturance in the whole universe was created for us as we're created for it. This is actually the truth. And I heard some people say that they had nausea. So the codes that, I'm seeing really are just the vibration of this divinity that we are. And if there's any part of us that hasn't remembered that yet, we can feel nauseous because these codes of our empowerment or our sovereignty and our divinity comes into conflict with these subconscious parts of ourself that hasn't remembered that yet. So again, it all comes back down to this deep inner work, recognizing that is not your fault that, you're wounded. We just spent thousands of years being told that, we're slaves, right? We're just waking out of, being lied to about how we're, slaves. And that takes time to move out of. We've kind of got Stockholm syndrome to the captors, So I think that when we're talking about shielding, it's important to focus on, the holes. For example, I actually really appreciate when new implants come, because it's sometimes hard to know where your holes are if you're just meditating. It takes a lot of time to scan yourself and find the holes. But if an entity or an implant comes, then you're like, oh, it's there. Like, thanks for showing me that, right? It's like you're literally telling you, like, hey, there's like something right here that you can, right? So that really brings the power back to you. You can just be like, oh yeah, like, that's a spot that I need to heal. So
yeah. Who else do we have on our team 24/7 trying to show us where we're holding on to density and we've got holes in our auric field, right? Like, they're our best friends.
my mom and entities, There you go. So Matthew, is there something you saw, a question?
Yeah, thank you. So what we're gonna do is we do have one question that we're gonna kind of insert this one last. This came up a lot earlier. And the question is really, and this is also my question, because I think this is one of the most important things that we can ask, after somewhat of a process like this, for all those of you guys that have been here and that are still here with us. And, we'll start with whoever wants to go. But now that we moved all this energy, now that we've been here today, now that we've gathered, now that we have meditated, now that we have, moved and opened these energy centers in our body, especially in light of this great quarantine or restructuring, or in light of everyone getting put on this timeout and taken off autopilot, you guys, what do we do now? What can people do now? What's the next step in this awakening or this timeline? And whoever wants to go first, take it.
Anybody? Feeler?
Yeah.
go ahead.
Okay, I'll go. So definitely one of the most important things that we can do right now is to just enjoy the time that we have off and recognize that it's time to focus inward. And there's a lot of craziness going on the outside right now. And if we focus too much on that, we're just going to get stuck inside of it, So take this space that we really opened up and cleared out today and start to spread it into your life at large. Take some time out. Like, you don't have to be doing something 24/7. You can sit with yourself for 5 minutes at a time and just be there without distraction. And that's where we start to really open these spaces up. That's where the real work comes in, because that's the feeling that we can start to create inside of this amazing walking organic supercomputer meat suit that we're all inside of. And we can start then spreading that frequency out to the world at large, which is where the transformation comes from. So really take this time to build something beautiful that when you do go back out into society, people feel it. There's a very distinctive resonance about somebody who is cleaning out their inner gunk, and they're stretching forward towards the best version of themselves that they can possibly be. Like, we can feel it. They light up the room as they walk into that space. And that's who we need to be right now, is those rocks inside of the chaos, that stillness inside of the storm, that lighthouse in the darkness. And that's the most important thing that we can do, in my opinion, right now.
I agree. And I think too, to just add to that, it's something that's really important for us to remember, is that, Z touched on it before, I think all of us did, is that we are creator beings and we are creating reality every second of every day. So if you have all this beautiful energy that's flowing through you right now and you're feeling really good, this is a perfect opportunity for you to start focusing on the things that you want, focusing on how you want this world to be and how you want to feel in that world, especially how you want to feel in that world. So for me, anytime I have any kind of a healing or I start to get the energy moving, is one, I just create the intention that it continue to flow in all time space, basically, and that I have the healing everywhere. And then that whatever I need to continue my process of healing is brought to me with some grace and ease. And I also focus on creating the things that I want to see in the world. Even if I can't do anything about certain things, I can choose how I want to meet the things that may be happening. Do I want to meet them with fear and anxiety, panic, or creating more of the same? type of experiences for myself, or do I want to actually start to focus on changing this planet and shifting consciousness? Because the only thing that I can control is my own emotional state and my reactions to things, and how I want to perceive the world. So for me, I would say start focusing on that, start going internal, and start becoming really aware of how you feel and who you are. Because I think a lot of us, we forget to become fully embodied, and we tend to spend all this time trying to get away from our body. But start to become really truly embodied and start to really understand who you are. And that is a journey that is always, we're all on that journey, and we will always be on that journey. That never changes.
Thank you.
Yeah, so beautiful. And yeah, I feel like I'll just kind of be saying that in a different way. So here we go.
Why not?
So one of the things that we can begin to really integrate is that, we hear all this talk about as we within, so without, as below, so as above, so below, that we're beginning to realize that, our bodies and our energy system is literally creating the reality. We are creator beings, and this is a mechanic that was programmed and designed into our DNA. Like, we were literally designed to be co-creators of this reality. It's just that, that had been taken away from us. And, part of the reason why it was taken away was so that we as a humanity, as a species of physical incarnate creator beings, that we could learn about responsibility. What are the parameters to creating? Like, we now understand that we can totally create a very lopsided reality where there's a lot of trauma and pain. And hopefully from that experience, we realize how powerful we are and how much responsibility comes with being a creator being. And that needs to be integrated inside every single person, realizing that that's really what you're doing here. You as an individual incarnated creator being, you are here to discover your own empowerment and your own creativity in that incredible way. And so, as we want to focus externally and say, oh, maybe these children are being rescued, how are our own children doing? Because we've all experienced being separated from our mother, feeling like we're lost inside this artificial reality that is dark and scary and not loving, that makes us feel, not supported and not loved, and that we are not perfect. All of those feelings are how our own inner children and our own being had felt for a long time. And so right now, as externally, we're seeing the reflection of children being rescued, and we're inside the cocoon of this quarantine. It's a really important time for us to really recognize and begin to rescue our own inner children and reconnect and place them in the safety of the Gaia organic matrix of life, and really reconnect with that. And so much of that is in our lower chakras. So we really need to actually slow down so we can actually access those frequencies, right? Like, so easy to get all excited about everything. But if we're really wanting to make a real difference, we need to come down into the root chakra and really slow down our perception of time and the reality and our place in it, so that we can actually, walk steadily on the ground. This is how we make things happen in this physical reality. So yeah, so great that all of you are here working on yourselves. Beautiful.
Great. More of it. We need more everywhere.
So just to add my part to that at the end, what can we do now that we move that energy? And I think it's beautiful that it's like we sort of said the same thing, but every single person here kind of added their own element to it. And so one of the things that I enjoy doing in my own work, and for those of you guys that are watching, in my personal kind of path right now, I believe one of the most important things we can do is gain awareness, understanding, and true knowledge of what's going on within the human body at this stage. And so what do we do next? Well, a couple years ago, I had this extraterrestrial experience in which the only thing they told me at the time was purify your body. Those were the only words that I was given. And for some reason, I kind of took that in this weird sort of like, I just sort of ran with it. And what we've understood over the next few years that have happened after that is we are at the stage right now in which, number one, we begin to detox the human body from heavy metal particulate matter that creates almost like an antenna-like effect when we're dealing with negative energy, empathic stuff, any of the frequency games that we're talking about, 5G, whatever you want to call it. So we detox the human body. Secondly, we begin to specifically work on opening up and strengthening the non-physical channels in your body. And if you're wondering how to do that, Qigong is, in my opinion, one of the best, easiest, low impact ways. So for those of you guys that are here that have felt energy moving, you felt emotion in your body, you've been part of this unique process, what we can do now is detox the body, begin to truly, truly release our emotions, whatever that is, and pay very special attention to certain structures on your body, especially with the timeline shifts that are going on right now. One of those, and I'm just going to throw it out, you guys, it's the Earth Star chakra right underneath your feet. If you're wondering what that is, we could even call that your timeline grid node connection point, in which the element of your human body is actually connecting to the Earth grid. It's very important for us to remain grounded and clear. And so after this, I'm expecting all those people that are watching, start learning about Qigong, start learning about breath work, start learning about detoxing the body from heavy metal. But most importantly, really, really dive into the emotions that are trapped in the body, because at the early lower octaves of fourth density, which is kind of like the bottom rungs of this huge ladder, we're given this choice in the beginning based on our alignment, our philosophy, and what we're holding on to. So without rambling on too much longer, this is truly the most important stage of the life of each and every person that is here. And so with that, as we kind of get ready to roll out, we're going to start with Barbara. Tell us about your website, what you have going on. What do people need to know? How do they get a hold of you? All that stuff. Take it away.
So I have my website, which is barbarabuck.org. I do etheric clearings, trauma release, soul shard retrieval, different types of energy work, just depending on the situation. I'm also, I do mentoring for other healers to help them with their facilitation. And I also just do self-mastery mentoring to help people to start to connect into all of their basically what I'm doing is I'm helping them to connect into their multidimensionality. And what usually comes with that is your mission-based information, as well as your own personal unique modality that you have inside of you if you're choosing the path of service. So that's been my primary focus lately. I also have a very cool blog site called wearethedreamwalkers.com, which is kind of cool. And I have a YouTube channel that has a bunch of really nice meditations on it called The Happy Empath. So that's pretty much me. I'm just happy to kind of facilitate what needs to be done here right now. And my services are always shifting and changing and growing. So just keep looking back and looking out for new things that I may be doing soon. Oh, also, 3 of us actually, Matthew, Eric, and myself, are today is a big rollout of the Global DNA Summit, which is very cool. There's all kinds of cool people on this. What it is there's 22 speakers. You get an email every day from different speakers. We got us, Laura Eisenhower, Jason Estes. There's just a bunch of very cool people on this thing. Arkurta Melchizedek put it together. I'll pop a link in there if you guys want to go ahead and sign up for it. It starts today. It's totally free. You're not going to get any other emails except for once a day for 22 days. You're going to get a video with a very cool speaker on it. So look out for that too. And thank you, Matthew.
You also.
What? Go ahead.
So with that, sorry to jump in right here, but you also get free gifts from each speaker. They either put up together a meditation or an article or something like that, and so you get a free gift with each speaker too. It's a really, really cool summit.
I'm done.
Are we there? Did we lose sound? What's going on here?
How can we find you? What do you have coming up next?
Who?
You, go ahead.
Oh, okay. So geez, what do I have coming up next? So once a month I do a pineal pilgrimage, which is a third eye quest where what we did today, I actually really kind of fine-tuned in the last one. And so pretty much what we do is we go in and we explore different energies that are coming up right here and right now. And we go in and transmute as much as possible and then use that energy to start really building up a wave that we can ride instead of just kind of getting swept over. Because I see that happening a lot in these, especially the energetic sensitive community. You know, it's like, oh, this energy is too intense. I'm just like, ah. That's like, well, look at me. I'm surfing. I'm riding. You know, it's like, come on, it's fun up here. You know, and so we can actually go up and start doing stuff like that. I do sessions all the time. Pretty much that's what I do full time. I work with about 3 people every day, and we do implant and parasite removals. I do coaching to show people how to do this type of work, soul shard retrievals, cord clearings, timeline clearings, past life regressions, trauma release. I mean, pretty much whatever the situation calls for. I know how to do quite a bit. And if it pops up inside of that session that, you know, you book this specific thing right here, but I'm tuning into ancestral trauma, we're going to go into that ancestral field and we're going to clean that out there. So I try to be as well-rounded as I possibly can in those. And more importantly, I try to show everybody how to do exactly what we're doing right then and there. So not only am I doing the work for you, you're doing the work at the same time. So it gives you kind of a basis to understand what it feels like. And so when I'm not there, you can do it for yourself, and you don't just have to keep coming back to people who know how to do this type of work, and you can become somebody who knows how to do this type of work. And it's a lot easier than you think, I promise. My website's at www.unleashingnaturalhumanity.com. I'm on Facebook under Unleashing Natural Humanity and Eric Rains. YouTube channel, Unleashing Natural Humanity, LinkedIn, Unleashing Natural Humanity. Pretty much if you type in Unleashing Natural Humanity into any platform, you'll probably find me there. So that's what I do. And thank you all for joining us. Like, this was really, really beautiful. And thank you for putting it together, Matt.
Z.
Hi, everybody. Well, I'm getting ready to go on maternity leave. I'm not going to be doing sessions until October, but these people are super competent. And if you were going to ask me for a session, I probably would refer you to these people. Anywho, so the most exciting thing that we're doing here is I live in New Mexico. I inherited this piece of land through my Andromedan star lineage, and we're building a starseed magic school / training facility here, and we will be hosting our first event in September. And I have invited all of these guys to come and be facilitators at this event. It's going to be very special. I think it's kind of like a love child between a retreat, a conference, and a festival, because I have complaints about all of those things and also things that I like about all of those things. So I kind of like took the best part of all of them, and we're going to have an excursion to a local Stargate a couple of times, and there's going to be music, and we're going to be doing really cool earth magic, hands-on practice and things like this, really designed to really just activate you so that you leave, super activated and happy. I recently published a book called I Am Starseed. You can find that on Amazon. It talks about the Starseed mission and explains just the various dimensions of our reality and what we're doing here through stories and how I learned them, just, going on grid work missions all over the world and getting into sticky situations and getting rescued by Barbara and so on and so forth. So my website is www.earthstar.tk. I have a lot of free you can find
Looks like we're losing
similar to Planetary, merged with my DNA. So I channel some of those frequencies for our healing often, and that is available for free on the internet. So yeah, thank you so much. That is all.
Thank you so much, Z. I think we got most of that. Please put your information in the YouTube chat if you hear the Z. Just a little bit of that cut out at the end. So please please check out Z's work. I think myself and I think a couple other people here, we are also going to be joining Z this year at her gathering. So deeply, deeply honored to be a part of that group. That said, where can you find me? First off, you are here on the School of Multidimensional Intuition right now. So I encourage everybody there, please subscribe, click the notification link. We're going to be having more events like this coming up in the coming months, especially online. But in the physical realm, assuming everything kind of evens out and we all return back into this new timeline, I will be doing an event in October of this year. I believe it's October, so I want to say 10th, but it's called the New Living Expo, and it was rescheduled from today all the way down to October. So please do join me at the New Living Expo in the San Mateo Bay Area, excuse me, San Francisco Bay Area. I believe that is in October as well. But in the meantime, because a lot of us are going to be at home in this strange realm all by ourselves, we are at this incredible opportunity in which you can begin to truly develop that ancient mystic, that great healer, that ancient intuitive being that's inside you, that's coming out again at this stage of fourth density, excuse me. And so my part in this, at this stage, my mission right now is to assist with the clearing and the opening of those multidimensional layers in your body. Just like Eric and Barbara and Z, I do energy clearing, implant removal. But what are we really doing? We're opening up the meridians, the chakras, the additional layers of our organs, and we're truly, truly opening up and really irrigating the human body. And so in addition to that, we do multidimensional intuitive expansion and what I call kind of a little bit like spiritual warrior training. And the next course that we're having is April 26th, and this is called the Art of Multi-Dimensional Tarot and Energy Reading, in which I'm going to be taking a very small group of individuals through a 4-week process of learning how to read energy, learning how to look at the tarot, understand your meridians, your chakras, what do the cards mean, and how do we read our energy in the moment? Because we're at a stage in which we have incredible ability to truly awaken your multi-dimensional intuitive abilities. It happens when we hit fourth density. And to put it simply, you guys, you're becoming more psychic. And it's time for you to take advantage of those skills and those abilities as we move into this new stage. And so please do check out my website, rememberyourmission.com. We also have a very fascinating astrological course that's going to be run by my wife, Honora, that's starting in May. So I encourage you guys to check that out. Very, very unique process and what I call true multidimensional intuitive training. So whether it be through me, whether it be through Barbara, whether it be through Eric, whether it be through Z, or hopefully whether it be through yourself in your own activation of who you truly chose to become when you came here. This is your time. It's time to activate. And so thank you for joining us. Please check in once again. We're going to post this later on for those of you guys that are going to want to watch the replay. Please do. But at this stage of the game, you guys, you have a choice. And that choice is to ascend and to move on to this new timeline. Do not buy into the frequency of fear. We're moving into a new realm. And so I thank you guys for being brave, for joining us here, for being a part of this unique process. Yeah, I think that's it for now. Any final words from anyone else as we roll out the door? Anybody else?
Just thank you.
Yeah, thank you,
everybody.
Yeah.
Thank you.
This was really a lot of fun. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for setting this all up together, Matt.
Cool. Thank you guys for being here. I love you all. Thank you, Z, as well. And yeah, we will see you guys in the coming weeks. Check out the links. And yeah, we love you. This is it. Fourth density, guys. Mission activation. Let's keep it rolling, everybody. Take care and stay out of trouble, you guys.
Boom.
Bye.